I just appreciate how they tried a very new idea that hadn't been done before. It could be very likely that the reason they're doing this at all is because they've gotten negative feedback every time they try to adapt the games. So they're like, fuck it, we're doing an entirely brand new story, so nobody can get mad at us for inaccuracies because fuck you, it's a new story.
Hard to say because the first one was so well received, but maybe, yeah, the opinions of the second one was why they did it. Hard to say.
It was well received until you fuckers made videos tearing it apart. You couldn't just like a good thing. Then they overcorrected for Battle of the Realms.
I deserve. Three, two, one. Devora kills Quieting at the end.
Aw,
Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to Kombat Kings, and we're your hosts, SonicHaXD, TrueUnderDawg, and the Forest Snake. And in this episode, it's a bit of a special episode. We are going to be basically watching Snowblind, and so how do you guys feel about that whole situation? How you guys? Anything you want to start off by saying and whatnot?
Honestly, I would not be surprised if that happens because we know that Devora's out here collecting scalps and killing all the legacy characters, or at the very least beating them in the 1v1. The only characters that seem to be safe are any heroic female characters she can't kill. But outside of that, you're gonna get messed up.
Well, for me, I feel like there is a decent shot Sub-Zero will die just because he's the old mentor character.
True.
But I feel like it's more likely it would be like Kano or Shank who kills him. That, or he's about to get beaten, like he'd been beaten up by some, say Tremor, for example, and then he's about to die, and then suddenly, get over here! And then Scorpion's here to protect Quang.
With the long ass beard, just walks in like, oh, I saved you, Sub-Zero.
Oh, super old man Hanzo.
I was gonna say, like, as long as they don't kill him for shock value, I'm fine, because it's a Mortal Kombat, so I could see a writer being like, well, wouldn't it be crazy if we just blow his head off screen? Like he saves, like, Kinchi, and he's like, good job, kid, and then bleh, head explodes from, like, Aaron Black or some shit from a gun, and then, like, blood gets on Kinchi, and he's like, you fuckers, and just starts, like, slicing people. I could see them doing that. Just don't do that, and I'll be okay with Sub-Zero dying.
I'm already loving the predictions here. Do you guys even remember the first episode? We already made a lot of predictions as to what we think is going to happen and stuff.
That sounds like something we do, yeah.
Yeah, we did do that, I remember.
Well, you see, I'm
without
old.
giving away too much. What?
I said, well, you see, I'm old, so I forget what I did last week.
You think motherfucker, you think you're old. This Saturday, I'm going to turn 31. I'm ancient.
Hey,
That's good, though.
congratulations.
Yeah.
You know what? Give me your address. I want to send you a birthday gift.
Hey guys, subscribe to my channel and try and get me to 100,000 subscribers before I turn 31 and literally crumble to dust.
That is what happens. It's Logan's run.
Thanos snapped. Before we get into Snowblind, I thought we should do a bit of an update as to what we are doing and what's been going on. And let us start with the Forest Snake. So, how you've been doing?
I see. Because it was my idea, I'm the one who has to go first. I see how it is. I get it.
TrueUnderDawg said that you go first, too.
That's not canon. You have no proof. We weren't recording yet.
Oh, maybe I was. He has recording footage. He's been recording for a while, too, so we got that.
I've already recorded my end. I don't get you guys. I just get my part, so...
That is true. Shoot.
But yes,
we'll see what we have.
Objection! Here is footage of us chatting before we started.
People are here for our content, so it's good to keep people up to date on that. And hopefully you could be like, well, I'm working on this thing. And people are like, oh, that sounds interesting.
Go first, Snake. Go ahead, because I went first last time, and then, like, we had to wait the whole time for you, so... That's not canon. You have no proof.
It's time to pay for your crimes! Take this! No!
What have I been up to? I've been working on... I finally finished all my stuff on Fire Emblem 3 Hopes and was able to make a little video out of it, and that video bombed, which is great. And so I'm currently working on a video to release on my birthday, which is also MK's 30th birthday, so you can tell it's an MK thing. I'm hoping to get 2 videos out that day.
I saw the tweet.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get 2 videos out that day, but I might not be able to, but one is a cannonball, and one is... It was going to be a cannonball, but I guess it kind of fits as a line through time a bit more, so we'll see. But I'm going to try and get those videos out, and then after that I'll just be moving on to some other big projects, as well as working on my visual novel, because I need to do an update for my visual novel later this month. And that's about it that I'm working on. Oh, I played through Guardians of the Galaxy recently. Good game. I like Canadian Star-Lord.
Did you finish it?
Yeah. I like Star-Lord being Canadian.
Nice.
He says sorry. That's great.
Sorry.
And really good costume selection. I'm glad you don't have to buy them or use dipshit points like in the Avengers game. This is basically what the Avengers game should have been. Like, you can feel the love for the characters and the setting. Just a shame you can only play as one character, and it's a gunman.
Yeah.
So there's not a ton of combat variety, unfortunately. So hopefully they can do a sequel and let you play as all the Guardians and bring in more Guardians characters. Like, I want to play as Mantis and jump on people's backs and control their minds. That sounds fun.
That does sound pretty fun.
And that's it. So I guess we'll move on to... It's my choice, because I say we go to Sonic. It's your turn.
Ooh! I am honored. Gotta wait your turn now, dog. Honestly speaking, though, I don't. Okay, I was see the grumpy dog down there. Not much has changed in terms of what I said last time, because I am still working on the same stuff. Though by the time this is out, I would have released our Scorpion's Revenge debate. Nice. Which actually has been quite fun to edit and try to make fake drama, I guess, or like try to emphasize on points. I remember there was like a point where it's like, we don't hate each other, we're all friends here, and then TrueUnderDawg's like, don't worry, Sonic, I hate you, stuff like that.
Don't worry, Sonic, I do hate you.
Okay, cool.
Fake drama, like when Dog said, I can make a solid argument that Morbius is a presumably bitch, he says. Like, that was a fun bit.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was really funny. Editing the highlights are really fun all the time. What else am I'm well, since Snowblind is out, I'm going to be now focusing about 99% of my time into editing that. So if you ever hear my updates, I'll be like, I'm now 20% done with my video. I'm now 30% done with my video, because I spend so much time making the Bigger Sucks video. But
those are good.
Thank you. But the one video I do have that's I stated last time also is my surprise video. I'm also working on that, which is going to come out there in the end of October. I gave one hint last time. Maybe I should give another hint again this time.
What was the hint last time?
Oh, the hint was that it's coming out at the end, October 29th, and there's a specific reason why it's coming out on that date.
Halloween.
What? Is it? Is that Halloween? I have no idea.
No, it's around Halloween. Halloween's the 31st.
That is true. Maybe I should do something special for Halloween. Anyways, next hint I should give will be, let's say it has something related to what I posted recently in my YouTube community tab. That's all I'll say. Okay.
Oh, good.
And in terms of what I've been doing recently, well, nothing too interesting, I suppose. I mean, like, I've been dabbling in some games too, I guess. I played an amazing game called Inscription, one of the best indie games that came out last year.
Nice.
Like the card deck building roguelike game where you're stuck in a cabin. That game is freaking amazing. I don't really know what else to say that's like too interesting. I watched the new Cyberpunk anime.
So good.
So good. Yeah really good. I kind of want to save talking about that like when we do the Tekken episode, because those are both Netflix, those are both adapted by games. I feel like that'd be that could be kind of fun to talk about too. And I'm looking I will say this, I'm looking very forward to animes coming out this October, because there are so many. Not only Spy Family Part 2, but like...
Baki is
Spy
coming out,
Family.
right? Yeah.
Spy Family.
Yeah. Which one?
I think Baki, the new Baki's coming out with the pickle arc, right?
Oh, really? I'm not too sure about that one.
Pickle? What is this? What is this, Chris Chan?
No, thankfully not. That'd be unstoppable. Baki couldn't stop Chris Chan from converging. Like, the convergence would happen, and Baki would not be able to use his muscles to stop Chris Chan. So thankfully it's not.
The Pickle Man tricked me again.
The Pickle Man. Oh, that's what that is. Yeah, you're right. The Pickle Art. The guy who took the girl. Yeah, forgot about that. The Pickle Man. The lore. Yeah.
And we've also got the Mob Psycho's final season. Mob Psycho being like one of the best shonens out there, like as of right now. If you're interested in Bleach and My Hero, that's coming out too. But like cool. Many shows. So,
Are they finally finishing King and Asura?
What's King and Asura?
Never mind. Y'all don't watch the shows I watch, apparently. Dang.
Sorry, yeah.
It's a tournament. It's a tournament-style anime, and it has a lot of fighting game references in it. Like, one of the dudes just dead-ass looks like Kazuya, and one of the characters had the exact moves of a different fighting game character. And then one character, like, dead-ass, I don't want to spend too much time, but like there's a flashback that shows how he got his position, and it showed him do a tournament and beat everyone. And a lot of people who are dead on the floor are references to fighting game characters. Like Ryu's corpse is there, someone else's corpse is there, and he's holding, like, it's facing backwards, so you can kind of like deny who it is, right? But he's holding in his palm by the face Terry Bogard, clearly. So he's like nice. Defeated all the OG fighting game characters, and like that's one of the villains in the show. So it's pretty fun.
That makes me think of High Score Girl, which is about this girl who plays like arcade fighting games, and there's an episode where she and the main guy are playing MK1.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's cool.
And they talk about like she says, so what do you think Raiden is saying when he flies forward? You know, the gibberish sounds.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because she says it as Raiden, but the guy says it as Raiden, because in the dub the guy is played by Johnny Young Bosch, who was Kung Jin.
Hey,
so
because
he's been in MK, so he knows how to say it.
Yeah, that was my gripe with the show when I watched it. Is like it seemed like a lot of them were only kind of fans.
That's the anime where like they're playing like the arcade games and fighting games and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's is that good? Do you think that's a good anime?
Never actually seen the show. I've seen that clip and I think that's amazing.
Everyone else likes it. Everyone else loves it because it's got fighting game references. I personally hate it because it has no actual characters in it until season 2. Like they're all just like flat cardboard. Like the one character is the pervy character, and that's all there is to him. There's like no dimension. The main character, High Score Girl, who's like the main love interest or whatever, literally doesn't have a personality. She just likes fighting games. She doesn't even talk. She has no dialogue. That's supposed to be like her quirk, that she doesn't talk, right? But unlike Komi can't communicate,
Shy.
it's not even charming because she's also a bitch. Like she's mean to most people. And the main character loves fighting games. He's an addict. And that's also pretty much his only personality, is he likes fighting games. Like he will ignore everything to play a fighting game, which makes you sad as the viewer because there'll be like a plot where it's like, oh, did you hear that like there's this party happening? Like, did you want to go? And you're like, oh, cool, a party episode. And he's like, nah, I'm gonna play Street Fighter at this new arcade that just opened. And he's just playing by himself. And I'm like, this fucking sucks. Like nothing's happening. He's just always playing a fighting game. And they could have at least made it to where the party moved to the arcade, so he had to like, it was like a blend. That could have been a cool twist, but no, they don't do that. There's a bully character. Yeah, there's only one character that actually has a personality, and it's in season 2, and so that's the only character. And she's probably gonna get the REM treatment from Zero.
Yeah, I know exactly what that means. Yeah, it's supposed to be introverted. The anime, it's supposed to be relatable. It's just like me. It's just like me.
For real, for real. Oh my God, me IRL. For real, for real.
He don't touch grass just like me. Okay, but yeah, essentially that's all I've got. I'm still just working on big projects. I am ending my phase of uploading weekly after the Scorpions Revenge debate because I put a lot of effort in doing these videos, but now I gotta spend it on like a bigger project and stuff like that. Nice. So I'm not gonna be too active other than this podcast basically. So now we shall end it off to Dog will be on this side from what I recall. And the podcast is on the side. Yeah. Okay. This way, I think.
Okay. On my screen, I'm at the bottom. So it's like the Brady Bunch. I look up at y'all.
Exactly. Yeah. This is where you're on the bottom.
Oh, wait. That's not the Brady Bunch, is it? That's some other show where like they have the squares. I don't know, the old like 60s or 50s TV shows. Anyway, yeah. I got my Divine Peach from Moist Critical over here because I didn't have time to make coffee. I was up pretty late today. Got up like just in time for the podcast pretty much.
We're sponsored by Moist Critical this episode? No.
No, it's just when I was in London on vacation. They had like a G Fuel station, and I had this desire to like try a lot of the flavors. So I just like bought the Moist Critical powder, but then I tried a lot of the cans also. They didn't have the Venom Black Ooze, which made me sad.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the Venom Black Ooze, which I wanted to try. Like G Fuel has everything, which is kind of like great and cringe all at the same time because they probably have some like cringy flavor like the Witcher Scar or something, right? They probably have everything. But we
don't have G Fuel over here, so it's like I can only hear how good it is.
Come on, how would you not have apple flavored Saurian blood? Come on, that would be incredibly based, or just like a cherry blood flavor thing based on MK in general. Like, come on.
Would the Saurian blood be green or red? Because MK
green.
Get
that's why that's why it's apple.
Green apple is nice.
And yes, I do reference briefly the reptile blood thing in my upcoming video, so check that out.
Nice.
Ooh.
They do have a G Fuel for Sub-Zero and Scorpion already, But what they should do, what they should do, and they're always sold out. That's why I bought it at the convention, because the G Fuel is like always sold out with all the main flavors that people want, because like there's only so much to go around, and they're usually like made by famous shit. Go ahead, Sonic. I mean, sorry, Snake.
Maybe they should make a green one that's themed around souls.
That'd be
like
cool.
Shang Tsung drinking souls.
That'd be awesome. I was gonna make a joke saying that like I want one on the cup, like with the powder. I want it to have Baraka, Reptile, and Melina, and it's going to be called the Taste of Jobber. Like, taste defeat. Like, the taste of defeat, because they always fucking die.
And it's going to taste like water.
No, it tastes like feet. Defeat.
Oh, no. That's the jury flavor from Street Fighter 6. It tastes like feet.
Jury flavor.
Because they've leaned really hard into that. Like, she has pure foot fetish in Street Fighter 6. It's really hilarious.
Welcome to our weekly feet conversation.
I'm going to say we're going to have another 5-minute conversation about feet.
Well, Sonic, I want you to go back then and look up if every time it's Snake that starts it, because this time it was. Let's see if it's always him.
I'll make sure. I'm not too sure who started it last time, but yeah, that's basically one of the highlights of the last episode.
As for what I'm working on, I'm making a lot of Mortal Kombat stuff, but also the closed beta for Street Fighter 6 is coming out, which I'm very excited about, because I played a lot of Street Fighter 6 at London in EGX, but the douche nozzles wouldn't let me record at the one section I was at, so I got very little footage before they stopped me. Then I got really good off screen, so I'm excited for the beta to show all the shit that I know with Kimberly and Jury already, because I'm pretty good with those characters already. I was doing stuff that AI figured out and all that.
You were mostly playing Kimberly and Jury?
Yeah, because I wanted to see how Jury was better from 5, because I heard that she was, and she is. So, like, all of her weaknesses from 5 are gone. She's a blend of 4 and 5. Kimberly is just like ADHD personified. You know, like how IGN always says, this game makes you feel like Spider-Man. When you play Kimberly, it's like, this game makes you feel like ADHD. You can like sense the
she's
Ritalin.
all about colors and whatnot.
Well, also her moves are just like fast. You have to be really quick to actually even pull them off. And even her freaking intro when they're just walking towards the camera, which is a loading screen, which is disguised as like a cutscene when they're like walking in the room and everyone's cheering them on. Yeah. Kimberly doesn't fucking stand still. She like runs past the camera by accident and comes back and goes, ooh, and then she's like doing flips and shit while everyone else is just walking. She like doesn't stand still. It's really funny. And when
she does look really fun though.
She got big forehead gang.
Gameplay footage.
Yeah.
Sounds like an Overwatch character.
Also, though, I want to make some content. What?
Cheers, love.
Cheers.
He says sounds like an Overwatch character.
Oh, down here. Yeah, she does sound like Tracer, doesn't she? As for other stuff, though, I wanted to also make a video about Tira from Soul Calibur, because she's like a bottom tier character that won Evo one time, and someone asked me, like, what's your favorite like underdog moment in fighting games? And I was like, oh, that's a pretty good one. And then also, someone said that I should make a video about the Bridget controversy in Strive, but I'm kind of scared.
Are you sure about that?
Because I want to, only because, like, no matter who it made happy, it feels weird to completely retcon a character who's been in, like, 7 games. And it just feels kind of weird, especially because in the emails, like the private emails that got leaked, they clearly said one thing, but then they went public with a different thing. So that response seems like it was just made for Twitter to, like, calm down the crazy people. It's also a terrible example of like that community, because like some people are championing it, but it makes no sense. That's a bad example of like that community with Bridget, because he was literally one way and then forced to be a different way, as opposed to being born one way and then wanting to be seen as a different way. Bridget's the opposite. He was born who he is, but forced to live a different life, and then just wanted to be himself, and now he's not allowed to. He's like that new thing now, canonically, after like 7 games of trying to be his true self. It's whatever. So I've thought about doing that.
I'm not into the Guilty Gear lore, so I'm not 100% certain about that. But it is definitely one of those things that's like, it's very, very controversial, I guess, when we put it. It's like even like East and West side of things. It's just like, you say one thing, you get attacked. You say the other, you get attacked. It's
I feel like outside of Twitter, there's no controversy. Like, everyone who's played the games knows what Bridget is, because it says clearly that Bridget was born one way, but raised one way, and then discovered who he actually was and just wanted to prove that. And he corrects people constantly in every game. They call him a girl and he goes, actually, I'm a boy. Even in Strive, he says that multiple times, actually, I'm a boy. But because in one ending, he says, actually, I'm okay with being a girl, pretty much. Like, it's okay because I'm a girl. In one ending, now suddenly Bridget is trans, which is a terrible example of trans representation, because he was literally told to be that. He didn't choose it, like, really, until the recent game. Like, you know what I mean? It's the opposite of trans, where you're born in the wrong body and you want to be seen as who you truly are. Bridget was born in his correct body, but was told to be the other thing. and then for like 7 games wanted to be seen as who he found out he originally was, and he just wanted to be accepted as his unique androgynous self, where he's a guy but he has very female tendencies. He wanted to be accepted as that.
Yeah.
But apparently, according to the crazy people on Twitter who are fake allies, if you act one way, you have to be that. You can't be a guy who's feminine. No, you have to be trans. Like you have to be, and it's like that's kind of annoying. But
I thought this was the Guilty Gear equivalent of the Naoto controversy from Persona 4, but no, it's the equivalent to the kanji controversy from Persona 4, where it's like, oh, a guy has like feminine hobbies, he must be a gay. Like, it's the only thing he can be. Oh, Naoto, she likes a masculine thing, she must be trans. It's like, no. Fucking read what the characters are saying. Pay attention. I saw this great image. It's like, a bunch of people with like swords around a table, and it's like each one is like examples of people having shit media literacy, and that's one of the examples.
But it's a shame because at one point they came out and said that like Bridget's a boy, but it was like in secret and it just got leaked. But then they came out publicly and said, no, Bridget is a girl and her pronouns are she, her. And I'm like, that feels so wrong because in every single game, Bridget's been fighting to prove that he's a boy. He even like would correct people, and if they didn't believe him, he'd go, "Oh yeah, let me show you," and he would like start the round and fight. So it was just he became a bounty hunter for Pete's sake, just to prove like his masculinity, even though he's like very feminine. And like it's just I don't know. I mean, I don't want to go too deep into it because I probably won't make the video just because I'm sure that Twitter would descend upon me. Although.
It is a very, very like hot topic to go upon, especially since, like you said, the developer has confirmed it and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah.
Which is weird because even when he, even back in the day when they talked about like why he made Bridget, like it's the same person who said that like Bridget is trans now. Originally in the concept, when he first drew the character, it was a girl, but he thought, well, this is kind of boring. What if I made it a boy? And that was like the entire point behind Bridget's creation was like, wouldn't it be funny or interesting if it was a boy, but he just looks like a girl, so everyone has to be corrected constantly, like even the fans, where they go, oh, I like that character, she's fun, actually, and that was the whole fun of the character, right? There's even a name for that in Japanese, I forgot the term, but there's a term for someone who dresses... Boy. Well, yeah, but there's also there's a Japanese term for it, but yeah, like where like they...
I know it's a
like father's daughter or something,
like very...
I forget. But
in Chinese we call it Weinyang, which is like pretending to be a girl or look like girl kind of a thing. It's like it's one of those things where it's like people really, really like but will not publicly admit. But it's like super high on like the popularity spectrum, but they won't admit that they like that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
But that's pretty much what I'm working on. I watched Cyberpunk also, which made me happy. It's a very fun show. It's short. You got to survive episode 1. Episode 1 to me was actually crap. But once you survive episode 1,
that interests me because I think episode 1 is still very good on setting up the main characters, like why he becomes.
It is, but it's kind of weird. It doesn't understand the tone of the show very well because later on the show is about like how any second anyone can die. And it's like you're living in Sin City and all that. But episode 1 is like him going to class, him looking at like VR, and him talking with his mom. And so you don't get a very good idea of what Night City is until like episode 2, when it's like, oh, like most people in Night City are very dangerous. And even in the protected areas, like even the really high status people are not safe. Because it's a dangerous fucking city. That's why Atom Smasher is a glorified bodyguard when you actually start playing the game, because like he's had to become that because no one's safe. Even high priority people are like in danger. But it gets a better idea of what the show's about.
Seen it yet, right?
Yeah. Well, I didn't really spoil anything, hopefully. But yeah.
Yeah, so we don't need to get too into it, but you just know it's like it's really good. It's holy crap, what the hell?
They're probably adding some quests to the game that tie into the show.
They've added, and some costume stuff. They added the jacket of the main character, which is kind of funny because the outfit the main character is wearing in the anime, he's already clearly designed to look like V. If you look at like the cover of the game, and then David, he looks very similar. Yeah, they just did like some subtle, even like the carving into his shaved head, like the way they shaved the design into his head is like the same as V. But he's meant to be a new character. They just made him look like Cyberpunk so that you know who it was right away as far as like the games. But they gave him this jacket. You can wear. They gave Rebecca's gun, and they may have added some missions too.
They added locations.
You can find locations. They made Lucy's apartment a house you can live in.
Imagine the idea of like having an adaptation run alongside the main version, and then having collaboration tie-in content for the two. Imagine doing that instead of like tying into a 20-year-old adaptation. Wow, imagine being competent at your job and not literally a NetherRealm Studios employee.
I know what you're saying, Snake. You wanted to see Cole Young as DLC. I did too. We're all sad that Cole
Yeah,
Young
we
didn't
all
tie
did,
into MK11.
of course.
I know.
Honestly,
I wanted to see the one being be a playable character. Come on.
Yeah.
you know, honestly, I mean, considering that none of the DLC characters outside of guests were new characters, which the previous two games did have, Cole would technically count as a new character instead of just literally Melina and Rain.
Yeah. I was also really wondering if Cole Young would be a Jackie
hold on.
situation where no
Snake-
one likes him. Oh,
Snake is just being sarcastic. He doesn't actually hate the fact Melina is MK11, guys. Okay, he's just being sarcastic.
I kind of do.
Please don't.
I kind of
please
do,
don't
to
hurt
be
us,
honest,
Melina
because
fans.
what it is it's a sign of just how much focus there is on pandering to like the most vocal dipshits, and consider the kind of shit the Melina stands did on Twitter to try and get her in the game, and then they got what they wanted. It's just rewarding bad behavior. So I feel like Melina's inclusion is morally repugnant. And I also think, unfortunately, even though she's my favourite voice actress and Melina's one of my favourite characters, Kari Walgren's version of Melina just sounds awful. I do not like how she sounds. I think she sounded way better in that mirror match intro where it's Kitana versus Kitana and one of them is supposed to be Melina, and it's like, oh, she's not going too over the top with it. That sounds good, but unfortunately, the actual game is really bad.
The only slight saving grace is the fact that it's the same voice actor as Kitana, which is kinda interesting. But that's really all I can say.
I also love
it
how
just makes
canonically
sense.
in those intros with Melina, how it proves that despite not having lips, she has like perfect like vocal mimicry and can like on the dot do an impersonation of Kitana, which is great. The problem is ever since the NetherRealm games, there's this obsession with giving Melina different eyes than Kitana, which kind of defeats the purpose. Like she should look 100% like Kitana from the nose up. But like I get they want to make her look. It's a catch-22 because the demon eyes look cool and they make you think, oh, she's different. But it also ruins the entire point of her character. And also, they finally gave her a blue color, didn't they? So she could actually be Kitana technically. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say this time Snake. Were the demon eyes NetherRealm or did they have them in the past?
Interestingly, it's something that not a lot of people know. I didn't know until I saw it on Twitter. In Deception and I think Armageddon, she has normal eyes, but one of her getting beaten up like effects is that her eyes become more Tarkatan as she's getting beaten up.
That, yeah.
So I don't know if it's like specifically get hit in the face and that goes along with bruises, or if it's just generally as she loses health. But that's a good way of doing it. It's like as she's getting more desperate, the animal instincts are taking over, and so that's why the eyes are changing instead of all the time. To where so I mean, to be fair, it's never really been like perfect. Like you look at when she had the veil in the 3D era, it's like she had that wild posing as Kitana in Deception. She's like, all right, Joe, take this army and do this. And he's like, I will, Princess Kitana. And it's like, can you not see through this veil? Like, you don't see the big Tarkatan chompers behind it? You giant fanny Bo Right Show. But
This sounds like my fan fiction where I drew Melina back in the day before she got revealed. I'll give it to you, Sonic, to put on screen if you want my little fan art of Melina.
Okay, sure. This would be interesting.
Before she got revealed as DLC, I hate the idea of just going back in time and grabbing the character. I find that not as fun. So I thought, well, let's play with the idea that she was like resurrected, but like by someone who wasn't as good at the sorcery as Shang Tsung, whether it be Ermac or somebody. So in reviving her and healing her from all the damage that she got from Devora, not only is she kind of covered in bandages in some place, which is kind of a callback to her flesh pit, but for a different reason. She's like actually wounded, but also because they like revived her, and to survive, her body became more Tarkatan to like survive the resurrection. So she has the spikes on her shoulder like Baraka, but they're kind of small, and she has them on her thighs a little bit, like little bones coming out, and like maybe even like tiny protrusions on her wrist to show that like she had to adapt to live. And I thought that'd be fun, but then we just got like MK2 Melina.
that should have at least been a costume. I mean, because like what did we get?
Like
we got
a slight Baraka costume for Melina.
We got normal base Melina. We got Shao Kahn Melina. We got Kitana Melina, and then we got like a Savage Melina. Why couldn't that have been in place of the Savage one?
Mm-hmm.
It's just an interesting idea that Dog just thought of, but I mean, obviously they didn't think of too risky.
You said base Melina,
like
but
that
my
idea.
brain defaulted to based Melina. And I just pictured Melina saying some like edgy like truth, like some truth bomb. Melina holding a sign saying facts don't care about your feelings. Based Melina.
Something like that, yeah.
I am based Melina. I have my
Oh, he's trying.
Tarkatan rights, based.
Let's try this one. I don't think they're gonna fit.
Those are really cool, actually. I'm not gonna lie.
I did think about making a comic, but I knew that like it would probably get me on bad terms with NetherRealm. But if I like was good enough at drawing fast, I thought about doing a joke series, kind of like Calvin and Hobbes. It's just like 3 or 4 panels to make a joke. But the running joke was going to be that Melina is like the diehard like leftist extremist, and then Katana is more of like the educated like centrist with like her glasses, and then Shao Kahn is like the far right extremist, and they'd have like different views on politics. Like Katana would be like, I am okay with sexy female outfits, but I wish there was options for other people because it's kind of insulting sometimes. And then Shao Kahn's like, things were better back when all the women were hot and their titties were bouncing around. And then Melina's like, free the nipple, and she's like just flashing the screen and has like a censor bar, and you're like, oh shit, and Katana's like just doing that. But
I think you should do that. That sounds really fun, actually.
It'd be cute, right?
It sounds fun, but I can see why you were afraid of NetherRealm being on the bad side of that. Yeah. Maybe word it a bit better than just being left and right, I think. But I think that does sound...
just all extremes. Fun. Yeah, not left and right. Maybe just like well, you can't say progressive either. So it just have to be like implied through how they act. I would never give it a label. I would just have them act that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it should be fine as long as you're not making money off it. People have made little comics and stuff based on characters plenty of times in the past.
I'm making money off it until they tell me to cease and desist. Okay.
Well, in that case, you could make legally distinct characters, like you have Showa Khan and Katana and Mylena.
What was the Johnny Cage's brother?
Oh, Jimmy Cage. Jimmy Cage.
Captain Khan, Katana, just straight up the sword. Captain Khan, Katana,
Louis
Selena.
Kang. We have Louis Kang.
Louis Kang.
Kung Loa. Don't forget him.
Where are they from? Where?
Common misspellings people make in the comments. Mm-hmm. That's literally where they come from. We have Raiden with the Y, because I'm pretty sure, because NetherRealm doesn't use that anymore. They have abandoned that in the 90s.
Yeah, that was a thing in the 90s, that's true. I have 70 Ko Young names if you guys need that.
Cole Turner. They're not using that one.
Oh, that's right, Cole Turner. That's right.
Actually, I mentioned Cole briefly in the latest video, and I actually called him Cole Turner. And this was recorded after the movie had come out. But I called him Cole Turner. I was like, I'm going to have to re-record that.
Now that you mention it, because we need to move on, but it is really funny how I was about to make the joke that there are characters in Mortal Kombat that have normal names, but then I realized their last names are usually something edgy. Like Johnny's a normal name, but Johnny Cage. Sonya, kind of normal. Sonya Blade, right?
Blade.
Jackson Briggs, like literally like the brig, like in like military terms. So like they do have edgy last names. So in light of that, it's really funny how Cole's last name is Young. It's not even Dragon or like something, it's just a normal, like he's got a pretty, it's not as normal as Cole Turner. Yeah. Cole Turner is way too normal. That just sounds like a self-insert. But it's not a very good last name, is it? Cole Scorpion, Cole Hasashi. Just put the writing on the wall right away. His name's Cole Hasashi.
Hasashi Young.
Hasashi Young.
Han Solo.
Han Solo.
That was nice. Put that in your comic.
No. Don't.
So, anyways, is there anything else you wanted to share, TrueUnderDawg, about like what's been going on recently, or?
I'm pretty boring, all things considered. I spend all the time in my like area. I never even have to spend money on gas because I live close to everything. So I'm pretty boring. I went to London and Paris, and that was pretty fun. I guess one thing worth mentioning is that I went to the top of the Eiffel Tower, which was fun. It's deceptively much taller than you think it is. Like in pictures, you think, it's going to be the same size as like a tall building, like a skyscraper. It's remarkably tall. It's 1,000 feet in the air. So it's crazy.
When you're up there and you're looking at the scenery, did you get an Eiffel?
Nice. I like those jokes. Joke's on you. I'm not hurt by dad jokes. They give me power.
I feel like I should have heard that, but like that's. Did you just think of that, by the way, or is that like nice?
I'm sure someone else has made the joke since since they released it.
It's the 1800s or something.
Yeah, the original release date. But I've never heard anyone make the joke, so I'm going to claim 100% credit for it, and you can't stop me.
Yeah, I mean, for your
Did
credit,
you get
I never heard it before.
TM.
Yeah, Eiffel TM. Yep.
and just one last thing on the subject of like legally distinct chortle combats. That's what you call the comic.
Choto combat? What was it again?
Chortle, like ha ha ha, like a laugh. Chortle.
That's a very English word. I'm just letting you know. We never say that in the States. I've never heard chortle until now. We've
think of the word
never
chuckle,
heard
right?
that. That's a very English word.
It's similar.
Yeah.
But it's a basic
I didn't
idea.
even know this word actually.
But that's good though. I learned a lot of words when I was in London that I'm starting to use casually that I didn't ever hear.
Yeah, you guys do have a lot of like interesting ways of saying things compared to the States. Well, I mean, like it's your way of saying it. A couple of I can think of is the elevator is called the lift, from what I recall.
Yep, it is called a lift.
Stuff like that. But the real way to look at it is it's the English language. Therefore, when the Americans do it different, they are wrong.
That's true.
So,
but I think
is true,
I feel like honestly though, because y'all have had the language so long and you've worn out the shit of it, like you've worn it out so much, y'all do have that problem where in a lot of parts of England, like you combine the words into one long word, like you slur them all together because you're so used to the language. I feel like this is just me this is probably just my perspective. I could be completely wrong on this as an ignorant American, but I feel like we do a better job separating the words and making them like sound separate. Whereas they all sound like one long stringed word when you're in certain parts of London. Like, every time you get home, it's all just one word. You're like, what? What was that? What did you just say? Hey, you walk by the pub later, have a good ball. I want to have a drink at the pub. It's like,
I mean, that is a problem I sometimes have when I'm looking through a video. I'm like, oh, wow, what I said there was completely indecipherable. I need to re-record that.
Oh, that's really wholesome. That was completely indecipherable. So smart. That is also a thing that English people have. They sound very smart when they talk. Whereas I think in the United States, it's almost considered like talking down to somebody if you purposely try to sound smart instead of just being direct with how you talk, which is unfortunate because it makes us sound very stupid.
Yeah, I actually do really like British accents. That's really cool.
Like tiff was another one, like a tiff, like to get angry, like are you having a tiff or a tiffy? We never say that either. But that's cute. I like those like different words. The lift thing was almost confusing because I'm saying elevator and it's like lift on all the signs. Like here's where you go to the lift. And lift also means a car in the United States. Like you're gonna get a lift somewhere, it means you're gonna like drive. So when it's referred to as an elevator, I was like,
well, we have that too. But I don't know if you want to talk about specifically like the company Lyft.
No, just the slang too. Before Lyft even existed as a company, we just said get a lift somewhere. Yeah,
we have that. We have that as well.
Okay,
So,
gotcha. Okay, good.
Yeah, I guess we shall continue with the main topic of this episode. So yeah, essentially we are going to be watching Snowblind for the very first time all together. So it should be a very cool experience.
Hey Sonic, Sonic, why don't you stop lying to the audience and tell them what's really going on?
Okay, well, these two are gonna go into it blind.
Nice.
I'll be hanging out here. But okay. In my defense, I have a bit of a defense I'd like to say first.
No.
My lawyer here will explain. So
She-Hulk
it was
defending you, gotcha. You're screwed.
Oh God.
Oh no, it's Saul Goodman. Saul Goodman's got my back.
Oh, you're
So
fine
don't
then.
worry
Yeah,
about
you're
that.
totally fine.
Oh no! I just got it. I just got why he's called Saul Goodman. It's Saul
It's all good,
Goodman.
man. Yeah.
That's
I
the
never
joke.
got that.
That is.
Fuck, because I've only seen the first season of Breaking Bad and not seen anything else from it. So my only knowledge after that is I know how the original series ends, and I know they did that Slippin' Jimmy animated prequel, and that's my entire knowledge of the whole thing.
The only reason I'm not offended by that realization, because you just said it now too, and I realized it. The reason I'm not bothered by that, this is gonna be a really quick. I promise it's a quick 30-second tangent. So my nickname growing up was Trey, and my last name is Bochet. And I was really good at high jump, long jump, and triple jump, where you like catapult yourself. Turns out that trebuchet is literally a French catapult, and I'm also French. Like, that's where my name comes from, my last name and everything. So that can actually happen, where you have names that like mean what you do unintentionally. So I'm okay with Saul Goodman being a real name. That could also be him as a lawyer. Like, I'm completely fine with it, even though it's hilarious. And it's all good, man. It could totally happen. Oh, fuck, I just doxed myself. Oh, shit. Anyway, it's a nickname. I should be fine. They'll never know how to spell it. I mean, they'll never know how to spell Bochet because it's spelled really fucking weird from a dead region in France that no longer exists. So they'll not know how to spell it. It went away after World War II, so I'll be fine.
It's from a dead language called French. No one speaks it anymore. It's fine.
Even when I went to France, I didn't speak French, so you're 100% right. Yeah. They had some god tier fashion there, though, man. Like there were some women dressed straight like JoJo characters, and it was like that was bizarre. I thought that'd be a cliche because most of them are dressed normal.
It was bizarre.
Start the fucking video, Sonic.
You're really good at catching these, yeah.
It is funny.
Let me give my TLDR story here. So around the 20-ish of like September, I like woke up checked my comment section on one of my like videos, and it's some guy being like, "I don't think you should make a sucks video on like the new Legends movie. In fact, there's nothing bad about it. It's like it's totally great." You can only say that if you've seen it, which it ain't out yet. And then afterwards, I started thinking of the realization that, what if the unthinkable happens? I type it on YouTube and spoiler clips, death of most brutal stuff. Like, okay, shit. I guess some may have been leaked or something like that. And so basically, that whole weekend I had 3 plans. The first one is I watch it with you guys, and like we can all have a good reaction and watch that episode, do it on the podcast. The issue was that you went to London, TrueUnderDawg, so couldn't do it too immediate. And the other option was to Brusco hosted it on his like Discord server too. I wanted to do that, but I went with option 3, which was my brother actually came back this weekend, so I decided to save it to watch it with him. So my first cherry pop was watching it with my brother, and I guess that's a weird way to put it. And because also when I first watched Scorpion's Revenge, I watched it with my brother too, so I thought it'd be like a nice callback. And I also like recorded it like really like in the living room with like the sofa and all that kind of cushions and like nice setup, so it's like live reaction kind of a thing. And yeah, I did it mostly because I wanted to watch with my brother, so that's why I did watch it first. And I want to get that YouTube algorithm pumping because I talked about it earlier, I suppose. Yeah.
I have a life hack for anybody who's scared of getting spoiled. It's actually a very easy life hack, and I've unintentionally figured out this trick, so I'm just going to share it real quick.
Okay.
If you don't want to get spoiled on a movie or a game, especially on YouTube, because don't go on Twitter is the first thing, because one, Twitter sucks for the most part. It's getting worse and worse of a place to live. You can have the most like honest.
To live. Like when you say the word "live," we understand that opinion now.
Yeah. So just stay off Twitter for the most part if you don't want spoilers. But then on top of that, just don't watch trailers for the thing you're interested in. Because one, nowadays these editors can't help themselves. They're either told to spoil stuff to get people excited to watch the movie, or they just do it because they know it'll be the most entertaining trailer. But inevitably, most trailers nowadays just show the plot of the movie. Or they'll show like a big twist, right? Even this one for Kenshi Snowblind already shows a big twist that happens. Like in the trailer, when they're like, is it getting a bit cold in here? And I'm like, well, now I know that's gonna happen. Every trailer just spoils stuff. So if you don't want to get spoiled, just don't watch any of the trailers for the thing. And then YouTube won't recommend you the spoilers because according to your analytics and search history, you've never searched that topic. So it won't even appear. I've never once been spoiled for anything Mortal Kombat related, like as far as the movies or nothing, because I never watched the trailers. So like I never get spoiled. That's my life hack for all of you. Works for games too. If you don't want to get spoiled for a big game thing, then yeah, just don't watch it on YouTube.
The best trailer ever was the Japanese Return of the King trailer. The trailer opens, the ring is mine. Like, that's the first thing in the trailer.
Oh shit! Oh no!
Oh my gosh! Wait, that's like isn't that's like the ending, right?
Yeah, it's like the last 20 minutes of the film. It's like as part of the climax, like it's like straight away. The Japanese don't care.
No, they don't. Yeah.
Actually, fun fact, out of the things I've been recently doing, I'm actually watching The Lord of the Rings for the very first time as of like right now recently. And I'm like 1 hour left with the Return of the King, basically.
Nice.
But I know
bet you've been enjoying that. Those
spoiler.
are fun movies. I bet you've been enjoying yourself. Those are fun.
It's like be watching Star Wars. You know? It's like, this grand adventure, at least lovable characters, like this very interesting world and stuff like that. Yeah. I watched it because people keep talking about the TV show, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna finally watch the original Lord of the Rings because I never actually checked that out.
If you want to torture yourself, if you're sadistic, you can then take time to watch Rings of Power and watch them just take a big steaming dump on so much of the lore. But yeah,
I'd rather probably start with the Hobbits if I'm gonna continue.
The Hobbits, everyone hates the Hobbits too, but I thought it was fine. I read the Hobbit book, and they did definitely stretch the crap out of it, and they also made up villains that don't even occur in the book because they needed a villain.
Which is fine. It's fine, but
it's fine because the main things are still the same. Apparently, they did some retcons that pissed people off, that like bugged people because it didn't actually happen in the Hobbit, and it was done just to be fan service and tie in the Hobbit to Lord of the Rings. But like it's whatever. I really enjoyed like those films have such good atmosphere and really good moral lessons in them that I still really like the Hobbit. Also, Bilbo Baggins compared to Frodo is a fucking Giga Chad. as far as hobbits, because he's actually actively saving people and actually helping the group. He's not just crying. I get the ring is like hard to endure, so Frodo gets his own medal for like actually surviving it, but like it makes him seem like a big pansy compared to like everyone else who's actually doing shit. And he's like, Sam, I stubbed my toe, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back because the ring hurt so bad and I stubbed my toe and I didn't have my milk this morning, and that fucking goblin creature's still following us. Fuck you. It's just like in the background, and it's just that's compared to like Bilbo, who's actively fighting people and helping.
You just reminded me that Lord of the Rings Gollum exists. Why does that exist?
Gollum. Oh, you're right. Yeah, because he was a Hobbit character. Yeah.
There are so many better characters you can make moves out of. How about let's do one about Éomer, like building up the Rohirrim to help out at Helm's Deep. That could be fun. Cool. How about we do one about Gandalf whenever he fucks off and just goes on adventures? Aragorn as a ranger. Faramir defending the lands of Gondor. All these characters you could do cool shit with. Now let's do a game about Gollum. Like, why? Why?
A game? What? There's a game about Gollum?
Yeah, you didn't know about this.
Okay.
They've been talking about it for like 3 years now, and they've barely shown any of it off.
Oh, they didn't show it, yeah.
Keep in mind, I am like freshly new into the series. Like, I'm just about to finish the original 3, so I don't know much about the outside.
Gollum's a member berry, pretty much. Like, the writers will shove Gollum into stuff because he's a member berry. He even shows up in one of the Shadows of War or Shadows of Mordor. He shows up when he shouldn't even like canonically be there, and it's like it's whatever. But it's because they had to put Gollum in a Lord of the Rings thing because like everyone likes Gollum as like a member berry. What's weird is that when you read The Hobbit, where he actually first showed up, you realize that the Lord of the Rings movies, completely fucked up what he means by precious. Because if you watch the movies, you think that precious is the ring. Like he goes, my precious. It's supposed to be his alter ego. He refers to his split personality as Precious in The Hobbit.
Really?
Yeah, which is ironic because it's the sweet side of him or the innocent side of him calling the evil side Precious because he loves him. Whereas if you watch the movies and read the book, that like the evil side is like manipulating the good side. So it's kind of a sad, he has an abusive relationship in his own head. Yeah.
Yeah. It is shown in the movie that it's like I need this abusive side and like, or like I don't want to be abused, but it's like I need him kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It is shown in. Well, I'm watching the extended cut, so there's like details and all that being shown to me. So I guess maybe there's that too. I've heard The Hobbit is like, when it first came out, people loved it, but nowadays if you talk about it, they'll be like, oh, it's like in comparison to Lord of the Rings and blah blah and stuff like that. But I might go check it out then, like considering that it was a pretty big deal back in the day. Let's get back on track and like I guess anything else you guys want to say about Snowblind before we go into it?
Blind.
You can go ahead, Snake, if you want.
Nobody caught my joke.
I'll say a 30 second. We caught it. It's good. I think it's funny how like
Okay, thank you.
It's a good thing Kenchi's not a real person because he would be very sad that when a film comes out about him, all it led to was like a freaking tidal wave of blind jokes.
I mean, I think what Ken should be more upset about it is that a film came out about him and he can't watch it.
You can't watch it? Yeah. It's got to be in Braille. You got to give him the script in Braille.
He can sense the screen. I guess.
That's a good point though, because they've dropped the ball in the NetherRealm game and shown that Kenchi can actually see if he's like with his powers somehow. Because he can see Johnny Cage smiling at the very start of MKX. He says, "Why are you smiling?" So Kenchi can clearly see.
It. Maybe not see.
Okay, fair enough. But if he can see, like souls, for example, let's say he can only see souls, that would still mean canonically he can't watch the movie because it's just a screen. So he still wouldn't be able to watch it, even with his like retcon powers.
I think you have to have. I mean, they do screenings for blind people, and where they have like someone describing the events going on. So he's just sat there and Snowblind's going on, and there's just like this very posh British lady explaining how Kano is like pissing on the ground or whatever, and it's like yes, this is cinema, says Kenshi.
This is cinema. Yeah, I will say this is my only thing before going in. So, whether or not the film is good or bad, I just appreciate how they tried a very new idea that hadn't been done before, at least as far as it's not in the games. That's brave. I'll give them credit on that, whether it's good or bad. And I also find it a little bit funny because it could be very likely that the reason they're doing this at all is because they've gotten negative feedback every time they try to adapt the games. So they're like, fuck it, we're doing an entirely brand new story, so nobody can get mad at us for inaccuracies because fuck you, it's a new story, so you can't get mad at us for being inaccurate to the games because it's a different thing. So yeah, it's kind of like Spider-Verse.
Hard to say because the first one was so well received. So, but maybe the opinions of the second one was why they did it. Hard to say.
It was well received until you fuckers made videos tearing it apart. You couldn't just like a good thing. Then they overcorrected for Battle of the Realms.
Either technically I never made a video on Scorpion's Revenge, but
That's true. Yeah.
I wonder if they just also possible they just had all these ideas for the sequels and then they used them all in one film because they were told they're not getting another one after the second one.
Yeah.
So they used all their ideas and so they had nothing left. So like, damn, we can't draw on the games anymore unless we just do literally MKX. So let's do something a bit different. Let's go. Let's do Logan with Kenshi and Sub-Zero basically, and it's like, oh, that could work. But I think that idea, the idea of going so different and out there, like basically like an AU, like you might see in Marvel or DC, Elseworlds, effectively. I think there's a lot more potential with that idea. So like, I mean, I've had this idea for basically feudal Japan, like samurai clans, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Like they could do something like that, or do a movie that is literally Johnny Cage's Mortal Kombat movie. All kinds of weird shit they could do, and I think that could be really cool instead of just adapting the games. And I think if this one's good, then I would love to see more like that. If not, then it's time to stop, because at this point, if you've not got it right at this point, you're never going to.
You know what the fans would actually really want? And just in case anyone's watching who's a writer for NetherRealm or for Warner Brothers, which you're not, especially not this far into the video, because even with all of SonicHaXD's editing, it's still going to be like inevitably at least like 15 minutes before we get to the actual movie. So what fans would actually like, I can guarantee you, they would love an animated retelling of Deadly Alliance and Deception. If you want, you can change the ending to where the good guys actually kind of win at the end of Deception, but make it dark the whole time and have the heroes constantly barely winning and like struggling to get by, because that's the whole point of Deadly Alliance and Deception, is that holy fuck, the villains are winning and they're winning consistently. Like, that would be really cool. People want to see like the Mortal Kombat characters struggle as mortals, and you would have a death right at the start with Liu Kang, but you can make it an actual fight this time and not just Liu Kang getting 360 no scope from behind when he's not looking. But yeah,
I've heard. I would love to see them tackle an animated TV show for MK. I just feel like I feel like the MK formula fits much more as a TV show.
Or Daredevil Netflix style, where it's actually live action and gritty. That worked too.
But fighting games need long form adaptations. Talk about this in videos, but like they need a long form adaptation, comic, TV show, whatever. Because when you're just doing a 2-hour movie, Mortal Kombat 1 works well enough because there's like 7 characters. It's not hard to give those characters enough screen time. Like if they just remade the first movie, they could put in Scorpion and Sub-Zero without going too over long. They could do that properly. But when you start to get MK2, MK3, 4, and so on, you're getting more and more characters. Like
especially
the average,
MK3,
like the average roster here is like for these games like 30 characters. So a lot of them are going to have very little of substance, and they'll be kind of shallow and boring. And even characters like Reptile, Melina, Baraka, they are consistently done this way. And so it needs to be long form where you have the time to actually flesh out these characters. Like basically make it more like Game of Thrones or Heroes, where it's constantly jumping between different characters and their plots. I mean, that's how you would do Deception, for example, because everyone's split up and doing their own thing. Or Deadly Alliance, where you got Raiden's group, and then you have Shang Tsung Quan Chi doing stuff. Then here's Kano and the Red Dragon and Nitara's stuff. Like that's the way it should be done.
Castlevania, I think that is how you should do it. The animated Castlevania show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's still one of my
works.
favorite shows ever made. Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, it's so
I
good.
can't wait for the Blue Nocturne or whatever it's called, the new one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
the Richter, right? Richter.
But you know the Richter stuff is basically, it's not really going to be an adaptation of his game. It's going to be that amalgamated with Symphony of the Night, because that's the one people like. The reason they're doing Richter is because he was in Symphony, so you have to do his story to get to Symphony. That's the reason they're doing this.
Well,
I think
Richter
they also wanted to give
pretty popular.
Well, what's kind of interesting too is Symphony.
Well, I'd say in Japan, because his game actually came out in Japan, whereas in the West, like we got the PSP remake, and I think there might be a port of the original somewhere,
like a collection.
Maybe in that. Yeah. He's mostly known for being in Symphony, but he was voiced by Resident Evil 1 Chris Redfield.
Oh, cool.
And then and Dracula was Silent Hill 1 Harry Mason.
Oh.
That's interesting, actually.
Yeah.
I think the real reason they're doing
horror
Richter.
game voice actors.
The real reason they're doing Richter is because they were told to make more Castlevania, even though it ended super well. And they have that really touching line from Sypha, where she smiles and goes, "I think we finally won." And it's a really touching moment. So they don't want to drag them out of the fucking muck and give them another season because they're supposed to be happy and be done. So they're doing Richter because that's the kid and they can do the story. They're going to have to change his canonical ending, though, because he's technically the worst Belmont by trying to prove he's the best Belmont. Because doesn't he like bring Dracula back from the dead to kill him again, to make him not want to come back anymore? But in doing that, he caused a lot of suffering because he brought him back.
Simon did that in Castlevania 2, didn't he?
I thought it was Richter for sure that did that, because the student was like dropping all the knowledge on me.
He might have done, but I know that. But 2 is about finding like the part to Dracula, and then he comes back at the end, so you kill him again. I think one that could have been one that
Simon defeated Dracula twice for Castlevania 1 and 2, from what I recall. Yeah.
Well, because you have to make a sequel of the same character, but yeah.
Yeah, one they could have done that could have been interesting would have been if they did the Sorrow duology, which is about Soma Cruz. But the problem with that is Soma Cruz, spoiler alert, is a reincarnated Dracula. And at the end of the Netflix show, spoiler alert, Dracula's not dead. So you can't reincarnate. You can't reincarnate if you don't just bring a character back from the dead and then say, "Oh yeah, now we're jumping forward to a time when he's died again and is now reincarnated." Like you don't.
So maybe they'll do a different villain then, because he's supposed to have his happy ending also. Yeah.
I mean that's the thing. Like that would be ideal, because I thought that was how they would approach it after like season 2. Is that each season would be a new game with a different villain. I mean, the ideal one would be Shaft, who was a major antagonist in Symphony and I think Richter's game, because he's the one who controls Richter in Symphony. And so you have him as the villain.
Oh, he's that wizard guy, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
so you can have him as the villain trying to bring back Dracula, or find Dracula, what have you, or just taking over the castle. And then you have Alucard and Richter teaming up to stop him. And Maria as well.
You know who also needs to be there?
Oh no!
Do you know who also needs to be there? But they're not going to do it. But do you know who needs to be there? Because they shit on him super hard and gave a lot of his qualities to the other guy, Hector. Because Hector has his own fucking game where he's a badass.
100 years later? Will he be 100 years later?
He resurrects dead things, so probably he could probably make himself live forever. But he's supposed to have apparently I didn't know this. I thought Hector was just always a bitch, but then you learn that he has his own game where he's like the main character.
Yeah,
and he's a badass like
he
the
tries
Belmonts.
to kill Isaac.
Yeah, he
who looks completely different, by the way. Isaac was an anime redhead.
He fights Trevor. Hector fights Trevor in that game, and he's like even with him.
But then he's literally just forever a slave in the show.
Very different.
I thought it was so funny when I was like, I brought up how like one of the comments I was like, Hector fans about to get done dirty again. And people are like, Hector has fans? And that's funny because if you only watch the show, you wouldn't think that he has fans. But apparently he has his own game. Like, I didn't play any of the Castlevania, so I'm a huge hypocrite. But
if you look at all the characters in that show, Hector's the one who looks the most like his game counterpart. He's like one-to-one the same outfit.
Yeah, with the hair.
Yeah. But one last thing before to move on to Snowblind, finally.
Is be quiet on this,
I'm about to split this in two, honestly.
So there are 3 ways you can approach Maria. One is the original version where she was a precocious child. 2 is where you have the older version from Symphony show up, so that you can. So then she'd probably they probably like a love interest thing with Richter or something if they did that. Or the other option is you just take the way she is in Judgment, where she's like basically a lolly and is like obsessed with women having bigger tits than her. And I'm thinking that would be the worst thing ever, but it would be hilarious.
I would like if they do more like years later, where Maria starts off small, but then she grows up, like how the games do it. I think that would be the best.
Yeah.
IMO.
So that's the end of part 1. We've gone on long enough. Now,
how long have we? Let me just make sure how long we've been recording. Okay, we've been chatting. Where our short intro has been an hour.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to like literally split this video into before we watch the movie and after we watch the movie, and just make us watching the movie as one episode too.
Yes,
so there'll be 2 videos.
Idea.
Basically.
That's what I was thinking.
Release together. Like, release them together, like not like 2 weeks apart.
Oh,
like,
I'll release them like together. Yeah.
Well, a day apart at least, or 2 days. But yeah.
Come back in a couple of days, perhaps, to see us watch Snowblind. So there'll be the guys watch MK Legends Snowblind, and the next episode is the guys actually watch MK Legends Snowblind. This time we're sorry it took so long.
Yes.
Are you doing that one episode where like the Red Letter Media talk about the Christmas special about Star Wars? Where like the first time they talked about it, they actually literally never talk about the Star Wars episode, and then after 40, 50 minutes later, then the next episode is like, then they actually talk about the Star Wars episode.
That's not the one that comes to mind. For me, the one that comes to mind is the one where they're talking about, I think it was like a step up sequel or something, but it's just a lore video like to end the current storyline with with George Lucas trying to kill him or whatever, and then it's like and then all this bullshit just happens here. There's like at the end, oh by the way, did you see like Step Up 4 or whatever? It goes, yeah, it sucks. Da, 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 da.
They did that again with the Maze Runner 3 video, because I was like, oh, they're gonna talk about Maze Runner 3, and it just like ends the whole conflict about like Mike and Jay getting married for like legal reasonings or something. Yeah, they end that storyline and never talk about Maze Runner. It's really funny.
That is funny.
We're not doing that. We are going to talk about Snowblind. I assure you, we are going to do it.
Sonic, I beg you,
Right.
I'm begging you, please start sharing your screen and hit the play button.
Yeah. I am turning up definitely legal copy of Snowblind here with and
Yeah, I'll say, but I will say, like, for clarity, you should probably watch this movie yourself. Whether you expect it to be any good or not, you should probably watch it, not just to cover our asses legally to say, hey, you should check out the official release. I mean, it's the better way to experience it. You probably would enjoy it more. Well, maybe you would. Maybe you'd enjoy it more with us talking shit about it if it's bad. I don't know, but now,
the thing is though, like maybe some people in the future they might look up reviews, or they really just don't like the Legends series and they don't care, so they want to hear people shit talking about it. I'm not too sure, but I mean, you never know. I'm making a very interesting thing for me because like when I watch movies like this, because like I will watch it once, and then the second time I will actually start to take notes about things that I want to put in my video. And then the third time I will actually watch it like per 10-second pause, right apart of the script, like 10 seconds like that. So you're gonna see me writing a lot here, and I'll try to react because at interesting points or whatnot.
so just so we don't have to stop in mid movie, I'm gonna go for a quick slash, and I'll be back in a second.
That's very smart because the movie is an hour and a little longer than Battle of the Realm, so it is like an hour and 20 minutes ish. Okay,
Nice. Good. That's a good length.
I'm going to hide my camera now because last time I didn't, somebody called out someone wearing shorts.
It's longer than the last one, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
ready.
longer like by 5 or 10 minutes. 5 or 10 minutes only. Come on now.
It's been a good run. I'm just saying. I think it's time to call it quits.
Give it a chance. Give it a chance, Snake. Give it a chance. Aha, none of you saw my shorts. Hey, it's a solo show for me. Hi, guys. It's kind of hypocritical since I'm editing it, so it's like whatever I say here should be funny. Is he back? Can he hear me? Hello? He can't hear me. He can't hear me. You little bitch boy. Hello. Hi, the Force Snake. I've been saying nothing but good things about you.
I was muted. I'm not a bitch boy. How dare you?
I didn't know you could hear me. Are you sure you wanna put the Sonic hat on the whole time?
I'm the real SonicHaXD. This man is a fraud.
That's true. You do have more Sonic. I barely have any Sonic merch.
I'm Sonic, and I make people say Heart XD with my funny quips. Therefore, I'm the real SonicHaXD. I found you, faker.
In case this film does suck, I have my Japanese whiskey.
I only have some extremely spicy Doritos. That's like you take one, it's like hot peppered challenges. So you might hear me cough a bit.
You're making me crave potato chips. Go.
All I have is my gun.
Nice.
And this may or may not see use by the end of the movie. We will see.
That's not going to kill you. It's just going to awaken your persona.
That's the third game reference there. So this is a mango milk tea, and it's first time trying it, and I must say it is not too shabby. I'm more of a just plain milk tea kind of a guy, but like with mango it is kind of interesting.
I'm not doing a good job representing my country. Like, Snake is doing all these English terminologies and things, and then you have your literal milk tea and or milk mango, which like milk assorted drinks are like not a thing here in the States. We just have milk.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. You're all doing a good job representing yourself.
Wait, yeah, you have soy milk.
Well, yeah, we have fake milk, but we don't have like milk mixed with like flavors. You can't get like orange mango milk or anything. We don't do that. we're too fat over here. We have sodas and like a shitload of them. And our sodas have way more sugar than other people's sodas, even when it's the same soda. So if you get like a Fanta or a Fanta, as you degenerates call it, when you
Fanta, Fanta.
Have you watched it's literally a Fanta because in the commercial they go Wanta Fanta, don't you wanta Fanta? I don't know where the fuck the idea came from that it's Fanta. Y'all are everyone just says it wrong. It's definitely Fanta, but it's whatever Fanta. But the Fanta is way more sugary here. Like we have more sugar in our Fantas than everywhere else. I know because Callum told us that. He was like here for Combo Breaker, and he was like, I'm really curious to try y'all's drinks because your sodas infamously have way more sugar. And I'm like, they do. There's a reason why like 65% of us are obese. But yeah, go ahead. Hey, we're not in the top 10 though. We're not in the top 10, baby. Go ahead. Sorry.
See, a lot of people don't realize this, but like the sea level is not rising. It's just that America is sinking from all the weight.
We're fatties. Yeah, we're fatties.
That's a good joke. Like, I think the last time I went to America, it's like I went to a convenience store and it's just like the thickest, most powdered like Doritos being sold on the bags and be like, you guys have that much like chemicals you put on like the chips and whatnot, like the powders and whatnot on it, and like that's like insanely a lot for it. And also, to be fair though, you did show the G Fuel, so there is the American side being shown over there.
There you go. We have we'll go ahead and start the movie, but we have this one like sinful creation. It's Mountain Dew mixed with hot Cheetos. Like it's the actual Mountain Dew drink. And it's Mountain Dew hot Cheeto. And it's purposely supposed to be both. Thank God it doesn't taste bad. It's just a little bit of spiciness to like the already famous Mountain Dew flavor. And it tastes good. It fucking slaps. I never drink sodas. And I drank like 4 of those before the evening even hit. And my kidneys were mad at me. Like I had pain in my side. Because it made me like piss a lot. And there's like fire in it because it's hot Cheetos. Yeah, but that's good. That's a very American thing. The fucking Mountain Dew hot Cheetos, dude. Oh, it's good. It slaps.
Very interesting. Very interesting. This is Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind reaction time, baby.
We then watched Snowblind. Check out our previous video to see our reactions.
That was Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind. Now, let's not get too into a giant discussion because I think we should save that for like the next episode.
Overall, maybe this like just a rating then, maybe.
Yeah, maybe like general thoughts, very small general thoughts.
Yeah, maybe bring Brusque on or something for the next one.
Yeah,
and
that's
have fun chat. Yeah, but so overall, I would say
I'm actually looking most forward to Snake's opinion about this.
Okay, I'll go last then.
All right. So me or Dog?
You watched it first, so you give us your thoughts.
My opinion has been like out there already, and my opinion about it is it's actually not bad. Like that's how I kind of feel about this movie. It's like I don't want to say it's good, but it's like I kind of like it. It's like it's better than average. But I'll start by saying this though. Like I think we all agree it's definitely better than Battle of Realms. 100%. It's just definitely better than that. I liked it more than Scorpion's Revenge. Like that's why I'm probably kind of liking this movie a lot more than I should, because when I compare it to those two movies, there are things that in this movie I like what they do more compared to those two. I talk about this a lot more in my review, but like I think it's like a 6 out of 10. I think it's actually not bad in my opinion.
Okay, I guess I go next then. So I will say this feels like a fan fiction, but in the best kind of way, because only a fan of Mortal Kombat would find an excuse for Scorpion to show up when he has no business to, and make him literally a spirit of vengeance with the way his outfit and shit looks. Like that's just pure peak fan fiction. The idea that Kano, who's never been an OG or like a badass, is the main villain because fuck you, he rewrote time to do it, and I found a way to make him the best, also feels like literal fan fiction. And I'm easy to please. Y'all know that when I did my whole like hate boner video on Battle of the Realms, I mentioned how I'm the easiest one to please. So I actually really did like this movie. I thought it was very fun.
Hey.
The only thing it's guilty of is something that all action films are guilty of 90% of the time, which is none of the villains have an arc or any sort of development whatsoever, except for, ironically, the one that dies, which is Shang Tsung. He had like some kind of build-up, but only to get jobbed because he was the subversion like of expectations, because you think that he's going to be the Kenshi villain, but he's not. He gets fucking wrecked. So that was interesting. But hey, in Shang Tsung's defense, time itself was literally structured to make Kano as unkillable as possible. So
exactly, yeah literally. I will say this though, to add on, I felt like the way Scorpion was implemented into this movie was less like shoved in Battle of Realms. In Battle of Realms, it's like, you're not dead yet, Scorpion, and now you have like a part of the key that opens the Kamidogu in you, so we need you right now, so please come back to this movie.
To me, it feels more like that was building on what the previous film did, whereas here it's just complete random, just bullet. It's like the only thing here is, oh, he knows Sub-Zero, and that's why he's here. So
yeah.
I disagree there, but I feel like neither one did a particularly great job with it.
Yeah. It's just, we gotta get Scorpion back in somehow.
Yeah. Well, I like how in this movie too, it didn't imply that like they're best buds, they're bros. He was actually there as a contingency plan to kill Sub-Zero if he goes out of control. That's why he's like,
true,
did you fuck up again? And he's like, no, actually, we just have to save the world. And he's like, all right, so I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this with you. Because there's still like that beef. Because like their clans have hated each other for like centuries. So you can't just be best buds all of a sudden. But
in Battle of the Realms, it's very clear those two like kind of are like trusting each other in a sort of way. Like
just
I think
to fight
that's
a god.
the implication.
They're not high-fiving off screen or anything. They're not like, having pina coladas on a tropical island.
They saved each other so many times. It's unbelievable in Battle of the Realms. Like
to kill
7
the god.
times.
To kill the
well,
the
not even
one
before.
being.
Even before that, they were saving each other.
Yeah, still though, to beat a common threat. I feel like. But at least in this movie,
yeah.
we're just talking about this movie. Let's pretend like it's not even a canonical continuation, because like Snake said, this is more of a sequel to MK11 than it even is Battle of the Realms for sure.
For sure.
We don't know 100. It's supposed to be both, obviously, but like that makes zero sense because they both conflict super hard with each other, so it doesn't work.
It feels it basically feels like a what if situation. Like an alternate multiverse kind of a
but done
idea.
well, because I hate most of those what if episodes.
Well, here's my question. So when we see the visions, do we see any of the Kombat Kids? Because I think I saw Cassie.
You did. Yes, that was Cassie, because it was the exact same like footage.
Because what I was going to suggest was that it could have been after Shinnok and his whole plan failed and he exploded or whatever. Maybe that's when Kronika made her move, but that would suggest that there's at least another 20 years for Cassie to show up. So maybe it's not actually connected. I mean, the only real thing that makes it feel like it is connected is they kept Scorpion and Shang Tsung's actors from the previous films. Like, everything else is just complete, and the name Legends, but otherwise completely different.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is it supposed to be connected, or is it just...
Here's the thing, though. I genuinely don't know, and I'm going to try my best to like piece together pieces, because this movie could either be the actual sequel to Battle of Realms, or it could genuinely be like a resetted timeline so many times that Battle of Realms is so far away.
Well, I know what you can do. Because it's not out yet, but the... Oh, wait. Or do you have access to...
Commentary?
Do you have access to like the Blu-ray or something, or is it like a digital-only thing
No,
you've got?
I am looking so for the commentary, because there's so many things I want to know about this movie. But yeah, it's not out yet. Not out yet.
I feel like they have to address it at some point, like in the commentary or a featurette. Like they have to explain how this connects to the previous films, if at all.
Yeah, I hope so. Because the only thing is connected is, well, you see a Liu Kang statue, and Sub-Zero and Scorpion like working together. That is definitely because of the previous film. It's like you can't randomly just have not like pitted to each other if it weren't for the fact that they were already teaming up in the previous film. That's where I would say is the only connections.
I've got to give my score. You didn't let me give my score. So I gave Scorpion's Revenge, infamously, I gave it the 9 out of 10, right? And just like you, I'm not sure if I like it more. I want to say I like it more than Scorpion's Revenge, but because I just finished watching it. I just finished watching it, so I can't say that for sure. I would say it's at least probably tied. So I would give this movie, again, I'm very easy to please. I would also give this movie a 9 out of 10. Again, it's a fan fiction come to life.
Wow.
We see characters show up literally just to show up, and then they're gone forever, like Dairu. Yeah. It's literally a fan fiction. Like they show up just to be there, and when they had characters' job, aside from Shang Tsung, because that was a big twist moment to let you know that like something's going on with Kano, that he's massively overpowered. Before that, they purposely have jobbers in this movie. They have Cobra. He's meant to be a jobber. They have Kira, jobber. They have Aaron Black, who's cool, but he jobs. He doesn't have a single cool W to his name, like canonically.
I was going to say he shot Kenshi a couple of times, but only because he was tied up.
Well, I meant in the movies, like in the games. Sorry, he has like no canonical. Despite how cool he is, he's never done anything cool in the games either. So he's also a jobber. Ferritor got pushed shockingly hard, and it was implied he could have soloed Sub-Zero if not for help. Pharaoh was doing fucking work.
He was about to kill Sub-Zero right there. Yeah.
I realized why. I realized why. Sub-Zero is too fucking buff. He's so damn swole that he couldn't reach behind him to get Farah. Like, he couldn't
I like
do
that.
he doesn't have the flexibility.
Stop biting my cheeks.
My back's too wide. Fuck, my lats are too big. I can't. To me though, that was time for Snake because I'm done. 9 out of 10 for me. Not perfect because no film is.
I want to just have one last thing. I think maybe as time goes on, I actually might like this film as it stands right now because there is stuff to chew on and there is stuff to like. I'm still keeping it a 6 out of 10 right now, but like yeah, I do appreciate it more on a second watch. Weirdly enough, I just think so. Anyways, the grand finale, the granddaddy finale here, the Fourth Snake. What do you have to say about this movie?
Well, first, I want to posit a quandary. Does Kenshi find out that Shang Tsung is dead?
Nope. That is one issue I have with the film.
The least you could have done is had like Shang Tsung's head, like just like on a spike in Kano's thing, so Kenshi can see it. Just to no, because as far as we know, Kenshi's just going to be like, well, Kano's dead. Now to go and get my revenge on Shang Tsung, and he will never get it until I guess Scorpion or Sub-Zero opens a portal and says, hey, look, Kenshi, look, mate. He's dead. He's here in the Netherrealm. He's dead. You're never going to get your revenge. The souls of your ancestors are probably gone forever, unfortunately.
I think the implication in the film is that, like, yes, it was very clear that it's supposed to be Shang Tsung and Kenshi, like, that rivalry. And, like, that's even in the game's lore. But because they killed off Shang Tsung so quick, so now Kenshi is solely focusing on Tremor being his revenge target. I think that's what happens at the end there.
Which is weird because all Tremor did was beat him up once. It's nowhere near as bad as what Shang does.
Tremor was just the physical barrier. He was meant to be like the thing that Kenshi couldn't overcome physically. So to see him beat him in the 1v1 was supposed to be like a physical mountain.
He's the Goro to Kenshi to Kenshi's Liu Kang, basically.
Oh yeah, that's a good comparison.
He even has the fucking size.
I 100% agree with this point as being a negative of the movie. Shang has so much potential. I wish he didn't die. I wish he gave more plot. The outcome is you made King Kano a threat. You made him badass, and you made him set up the thing about why he can defeat Shang Tsung and stuff. It's the balance in a way.
I guess they could have had Shang Tsung get the fuck out of there, like GTFO. Like he realizes he's defeated,
Yeah,
loses
he
an
had
arm, goes
teleporting
and just
ability and
teleports. Well, I think it's implied, like, it's kind of dumb because these are Mortal Kombat characters who we've seen bounce back from anything. But maybe they're just trying to imply that when he got his... sorcery takes focus. It's like more of a mind than a body thing. I think they're implying when his arm got ripped off, he was in shock. And he couldn't think clear to do anything. Because he didn't have focus.
Maybe. That's a good way to put it, actually. Interesting.
I mean, his face got brutalized, too, so even less focus because his brain's literally damaged.
I wonder if the intention at some point was perhaps to have Shang play a larger role, but then once they decided to have the MK11 twist in there, they perhaps thought, well, then it's too much like Aftermath with Shang Tsung coming in as like the Grand Master of Time, trying to usurp everything. So I wonder if that might have changed the direction of the narrative a bit.
Maybe. The only thing I can think of why Shang Tsung would have been much more involved is the fact that he's in the freaking cover. Like, he is there in the cover.
Like, Kano's not on the cover.
Yeah. When the cover was leaked, everyone was like, oh, Shang Tsung Kenshi. But then you see the synopsis, it's Kano being the main threat. So it's like, you might be right about that, actually.
Here's a question, Sonic. Will the video be called MK Legends Snowblind Sucks? Or are you going to deviate based on your actual how much you like the film?
I'm not gonna lie, I was debating this a while because even things that I don't think suck too much, I still put the suck title on it. But like, I think I might not actually. I'll see because I wanna dive deep into the movie and really like decipher whether or not like there are things that are really worth criticizing more heavily. But then also another thing is I only have one video on my channel that has the title Doesn't Suck on it currently. So if I had another one, I think that'll help my reputation just a bit too. But
you could.
I want to give it time, but I am leaning towards It Doesn't Suck right now, actually.
Just so you know, though, there is a series of... real quick, sorry, hold that thought, please. Hold that. There's a YouTube channel called Mr. Sunday Movies, and they have a series called Caravan of Garbage, and they even include shows they like and movies they like. It started off being a hate series, but they tell you at the start sometimes, like, just so y'all know, it's just what we call the videos because people love that series and they know the title, so we call it that. But this is one of those rare circumstances where it's not garbage. We actually like it.
Yeah.
So
like Linkara, where his tagline is, hello and welcome to Top the Fourth Wall where bad comics burn. Sometimes the comics are good. Sometimes it's not even a comic. So it's fine. It's just a branding thing. But
Or bad comics burn.
But I'll say this. If you want having more videos on your channel that where it says doesn't suck, you're not going to get many opportunities for that with Mortal Kombat stuff. So
Exactly.
Take the chance where you can, because it's not going to come very often.
That's one thing. Also, it doesn't really affect my like views in a sense. It's like people still know it's a sucks video when I even title it doesn't suck in the front. I will still title my trailer Legend Sucks because that's what I do in 1995 too. But at the end, I did specify this isn't going to be a sucks video. And the main video I did put does it in the front. Anyways, continuing on your opinion about the movie.
Mike started my opinion because I didn't even actually start it. I just went
You just
on
asked the
this
question about
tangent.
Shang Tsung, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what I'll say is, obviously there's a lot of stuff in it that's incredibly dumb. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that Kenshi doesn't get to have his fight. He doesn't even fight Shang Tsung once in the film. It's not even one time does that happen.
And that's probably the only thing that's more like related to MK, right?
Yeah, the only thing that actually, other than the Kano's ending, it's the only thing that actually derives from MK's lore, and they just didn't do anything with it. Honestly, I think it would have been better if they just changed the backstory, and if it was like that weird synopsis said that Kano's responsible, that would have been better, I think. Then as a self-contained narrative, there's a more complete arc, a more complete plot line, rather than it just doesn't go anywhere because he dies.
Yeah.
We were comparing this the whole time to like The Force Awakens or whatever, but like really this is closer to The Last Jedi, defying expectations for literally no reason.
Yes.
I suppose so, yeah. TrueUnderDawg did say that a lot. Like, he said, this is literally like Luke Skywalker from Last Jedi and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, it's Ryan Johnson is what I meant, because Ryan Johnson subverted expectations just to do it when it made no sense. Like having the main villain, I forgot his name already because he's so unimportant now. No, the other one,
actress,
the big guy.
Snoke. Yeah.
Snoke. Is it Snoke? Yeah, I almost said Smoke,
Snoke.
but that's Hobbit because we were talking about Hobbit earlier. Yeah, Snoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Snoke jobbing like that makes no sense when he was shown to be like absurdly tiers higher than everybody, but he just dies, and then they never mention him again. You just get a shot of him in a test tube to like explain that he's like a weird clone, which is dumb because if you can clone that creature, you would have an army of him because he's so fucking overpowered. You wouldn't just have one. But so it's a dumb retcon, but like that's what happens when Ryan Johnson ruined it.
The Rise of Skywalker had like tens of thousands of like Star Destroyers and
oh, dude, that's so bad. Yeah.
Actually,
are you sure?
It's
Real
kind
quick,
of,
are you
it's
sure
kind of
there's
funny when
no?
you think about it. It's kind of funny to think about it. It's like, yeah, Snoke was he was a clone the whole time, and it's like so instead of being like, well, here's what the real Snoke is, and he's so much more powerful than the clone. It's like, nah, he's a clone of the Emperor who's dead. It's like it would have been so much cooler if it's like, yeah, that Snoke was lame, sure, but he was just a shitty clone. Here's the real one. Like how the MK 2021 2 is probably going to be like, Melina, yeah, she was trash. This is Katana. This is the real deal.
Well, in their defense, that's because Ryan Johnson is an absolute. He's either an arrogant, very arrogant, egotistical person, or he's a moron because he literally shit on all the stuff that was set up by the previous director just to do that. And that's why it's weird, because Snoke was clearly meant to be the main villain, but because he killed him, they had to scramble to make a new villain. They're like, fuck it, bring back the Emperor. But I don't want to dwell on that too long. Sonic, are we sure?
Star Wars
are we sure there's no after credits teaser or sting?
No, there is no, because
okay.
if there was, I would know.
Because that would have been the place to have Shang Tsung not be dead. Because even when you kill Shang Tsung, we've seen endings where he has ways to like restore himself, like via Ermac or something else. The dude can load his own fucking save file, so I would not be shocked if he came back somehow. But he's one of those fun villains. Except with MK12. If MK12 is a sequel to MK11, that's the only time he can't come back because Liu Kang said that he unwrote him from history. So that's the only way Shang Tsung
is ending.
Oh, what if he impregnated himself inside of Liu Kang's DNA before he died, and then he takes over and like it's like he just becomes Liu Kang, like he's like in his brain. Oh shit! That's the only way.
You're thinking too crazy right now. You're definitely.
I know. Yeah.
The funniest one was when Liu Kang came back in Deadly Alliance, I think it was Quan Chi's ending, he drains the life from Kano. So because there's no lethal wounds, he's just dead, and Liu Kang's spirit enters his body, and it's like, Liu Kang is back as Kano.
In Deadly Alliance, it's like his soul is literally a character throughout the series later on, right? He's just like...
Which is also incorrect because... Oh, is it because they beat up Shang Tsung? Is that why he's free? Because he shouldn't be floating around.
Well, yeah, because it's like... Quan Chi has Kano help him kill Shang Tsung, and then it's like, and here's your reward, blam, you're dead too, Kano. Because Kano's role in Deadly Alliance is to be like the guy that both are plotting to use to help them kill the other.
Oh,
Like, I think he does in both endings. He helps them.
That's why I'm kind of sad that subplot didn't go anywhere with Kira, Cobra, and Cabal.
Cabal.
Who I just now realized all of their names are K's.
Yes.
Anyway, that doesn't bode well.
Kano.
Anyway, but
and Kano, like
I'm kind of sad that subplot
Jarrett's
didn't
like
go
the only
anywhere
one
because
that
they
doesn't.
mentioned like doing their own thing away from Kano, not betraying him because that's stupid. The dude's fucking unkillable. But they were thinking like, oh, we'll just do our own little side hustle or leave or something, and they didn't do that.
The point of that was to kind of, again, subvert expectations because, like, he's like, okay, Shang, go check on them and see if there's any issues with them. But the point of that was Shang was there to see Takahashi to get the powers.
Shang was there.
Like, that was the point.
Shang was there.
Anyway, sorry, keep interrupting you, Snake.
But yeah,
Let's continue.
what I think could have been a cool way to set up Shang coming back would be if instead of just a random skull, it was Shang's severed head with the crown on it. Like it's just look at Shang Tsung with the crown on his head. How funny is that? And then you have it that the head gets knocked off with the crown or something, or it's placed there and then it falls, and then when the characters come back to get the crown, there's no head there. They don't know that. They don't know there's no head there, but the head isn't there. So if you pay attention, it's not, because Shang's head absorbed the souls from the crown and escaped. He regenerated his body and ran away. Don't
That would be
bullshit like
kinda
that.
cute.
It's already fan fiction tier writing. Why not go all the way?
That's a really cute. Yeah, that's really cute. I like that.
But yes, just so that we can actually get around to to talking about what we think could happen in future films to wrap things up, I'll say this film has a lot of dumb bullshit. Par for the course for MK. With the modern series, arguably all it's always been like that with a lot of dumb bullshit. But I feel like maybe it's just because I watched it with you guys, but I kind of had some fun with it. There were some decent moments in it. I'm thinking this might actually be the best MK thing since the NetherRealm era started.
Wow.
Just because it's not bastardizing things. Like there's dumb stuff in it, but it's not like a bastardization of the series. It's doing its own thing. It feels distinct. And I honestly feel like, as shallow as it is, that ending, like the reveal with the MK11's Kano ending, it kind of does justify a lot of the dumb shit and like redeem some of it in a weird way.
I'm so happy you guys are saying that because have you heard of any reviews out there right now? Have you heard of seen anything about it?
I've had one comment from someone saying it's a good film.
Because literally every single person out there, either they say I don't like this movie, or they would say I like this movie, but the ending was bad. Like they hated that twist. And I'm actually somewhat happy that you two don't hate it that much too, because like you stated, it explains kind of why the heck is this a wasteland and why Kano is so OP and stuff like that.
It's the world Kano wants to create. But I do think that, I mean, especially since it is tying into Kano's MK11 ending, they should have had Sonya and Jax in there.
Yeah.
Like even if just to die, and I do think that it's dumb that they don't reset the timeline, because here's the thing: if they went back and if they reset the timeline
off screen,
still can.
Yeah, but if they had done that, that could have been a great setup for whatever the fuck you want the next film to be.
Yes.
Like you could have like Scorpion could be like, well, I'm gonna reset it, and then it makes like a feudal Japan Mortal Kombat or something, or maybe or Shang Tsung comes in, or alternatively, you have multiple characters on opposing sides, all rewriting reality at the same time. So that it's like a bit of this thing is what Shang wanted, this is what Scorpion wanted, this is what Sub-Zero wanted. It's like all them coming together to create a new timeline. That's what this new film's going to be.
That part of the ending is the part that I don't like too, because it's like, really? You're really going to continue this like completely like messed up world wasteland? It's like, and you're just going to, no, continue the legacy, Kenshi. You're now going to Lin Kuei. It's like, okay, I did like that part of it too. I actually forgot what I was going to say. Shoot. My mind. Oh, okay, now I remember. I know why they destroyed the crown. Because they're basically saying
this is the only Chronica shenanigans is going to happen in the Legends series. From now on, there's not going to be any more. I think that was the very important implication that they're going with.
I mean, there could have been at least one throwaway line where they say like, "Hey, like we don't know how to use the crown," or they could have even implied that only Kano can use it because he's the one that reset the timeline. I don't know, because we see Kano even use the hourglass to try and erase Sub-Zero, so he clearly has way more knowledge of how to use that thing. But I still think here's my two theories of the next movie. One's the most likely.
The thing is, Kuai Liang also could use it, right? You saw his hands going on the hourglass.
But what if? What if?
They, to get his stuff back? Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
What if they had it that Kenshi, because he doesn't know Shang is dead. None of them know that. So what if they were like, well, we don't know how to use the hourglass. And while we're trying to figure that out, maybe Shang Tsung could come back and steal it. They don't know Shang's dead, but they think he's still around. Yeah. So they're destroying it to make sure Shang can't get it, not realizing, dramatic irony, Shang's already dead and can't do it.
Here's what I thought. My two theories for what I thought the sequel would be. Like, one's less likely, one's more likely. The most likely is, they retconned or they used the crown, and then like we had like an MKX, like you said, Kombat Kids sequel, which I honestly. I would roll with it. I fuck with the Kombat Kids movie. I'll watch it. But given they have the MKX designs, because MKX Cassie actually looks interesting to me. MK11 Cassie's just girl. So I get she looks more traditionally feminine, like with the ponytail and shit, but like she looks like a literal soldier in the background of a movie. Here's what would be a cool sequel, but they're not going to do it, but it'd be interesting. So what if they're like, hey, we don't want anyone else to use this hourglass, but for the life of us, we can't find a way to destroy the crown. It's like immune to damage. Or did they destroy it in the movie? Did they destroy it?
They destroyed it. They destroyed the crown.
Oh, you're right, they did. Fuck.
Yeah.
So my idea does. My idea.
No more hourglass.
Well, let me just say my fan fiction.
The entire structure implodes, so it's entirely possible it just teleported away somewhere.
Or just destroyed destroyed the door, the thing that it was sitting in.
Well, they destroyed the crown.
It just destroyed that.
That's the thing.
Do we see it? We see the crown destroy, or we just see an explosion? Do we see the crown actually get destroyed?
Yeah, like that's what causes the whole. I don't know if we see it actually shatter to pieces, but like the whole energy that causes everything to collapse and whatever that came from.
Okay,
the crown.
Well, here was my other theory, but it's fucked now. But I thought it'd be a funny idea for a sequel if to keep the canon going and to not like reset everything. If they can't destroy the crown, so instead somebody they trust, like Sub-Zero or somebody, or Scorpion even, hides it, where they hope nobody can find it. So now the movie is about an evil faction and a good faction both working to find the crown to reset the timeline for their own desires. So the villains want to create a world where they win, and the heroes want to create a world where it's better and undoes all the horrible things. And they're fighting along the way, and like it's like National Treasure mixed with Mortal Kombat and with a bit of Uncharted in there.
Also Lord of the Rings, right? Because they want the ring and whatnot.
The one crown to rule them all.
Hate to break your hearts, I literally went back and looked. You can see it a little bit while it's like Scorpion and Sub-Zero are beaming that, and it's like you see the crown like crack and like break apart for like about like a second. So
okay,
it's
which is
destroyed.
interesting because I'm pretty sure we've never seen it even take damage before. So that's like a new thing that the crown can even be hurt.
In the first MK11, when Liu Kang like kills Kronika, it cracks, right? It also,
yeah.
I thought that's the reason.
No, that's the reason.
No, it's destroyed.
Happens.
That's the whole aftermath story.
You're right.
Because the crown is destroyed. That's where they have to go back in time. Aftermath.
You're right. He glasses that shit. You're right. He glasses it. Damn. Okay, well, it makes sense. I mean, it shouldn't be unbreakable. I mean, technically it's just a tool, so it should be breakable.
I kind of imagine that's why they went with the fire and ice things, like the same kind of idea to like just like fire and ice, like heating it and cooling it at the same time to break it, similar to the Liu Kang's fire.
They could have alternatively, they could have just tossed it into the oblivion.
you could just throw it in the sea of blood. That is an option.
Because that time area has no
honestly,
bottom.
You know what could have been kind of cool actually? It would have been if Garrus was one of Kano's minions.
That would show the reveal. You know what I mean? Like
like in the room though, like at the end, yeah.
Oh, like a secret goon. Okay.
It was certainly more impactful than just throwing in Draman and Dairu, who do nothing.
How dare you? I was fangirling.
Jarek, kill him. At least Dairu shows some flies to see that he's stinky.
He didn't. Oh, you mean Draman? But yeah, Dairu.
Sorry, Draman. Yeah,
Dairu didn't die either, and I don't think Draman died on screen either.
I'd like to give a thing that like I think is really hard to imply, but like it feels like when Scorpion is opening the teleporter thing,
it's like he came from behind, not from the group of people, but like from the the portal thing. Did you guys feel that when you? It only happened in a second, so you can barely see it. But it's like
when
he's saving Kenshi, it's like it's like he said he said you know what to do with the rest, and then Dairo comes from behind, and then like Scorpion teleports away too.
You're saying he came from like a different reality instead of just teleporting there?
Yeah, that's like
he came
what
from
if that's
another
the
realm?
implication? Let me just pull that scene up so I can show. Why don't we, Snake, continue your small review?
It's not really much to say. I mean, I feel like I'd give more like extensive thoughts in a full video. Don't expect like a dedicated video, like a small one, like I did for like our Battle of the Realms is an unmitigated disaster. This film is not an unmitigated disaster. It has its problems, definitely, but I think I like it more than Scorpion's Revenge, if only because again it's not bastardizing anything substantially.
Yeah.
I'd argue that Scorpion's Revenge is probably a more competently told narrative overall, just because this fucks up with the Shang Tsung stuff and just like the baffling decision to destroy the crown. But yeah, this might be my favourite MK thing since NetherRealm started. I'll need time to properly think about it. Maybe my opinion will change as I think about it more by the time we get to like the big a bit of proper discussion or something.
Yeah.
It's just like scattered thoughts after watching it. I'd say this is actually pretty good. And it's kind of weird to think Mortal Kombat can be good? Since when? As far as I was aware, that wasn't allowed since like 2006 or 8.
I in my review, I was like, the fact that this movie is somewhat decent, or like the fact that I think it's like better than it's like a 6 out of 10. I'm like literally screaming and crying because it's like something Mortal Kombat that's like actually above average. Like that's amazing to me.
I will say, Snake said earlier, like, because he was watching it with us, it may have made it like slightly better than it would have otherwise been. And I'm thinking about that because watching Shang Tsung die so pathetically, if I had been watching alone, may have actually pissed me off. But because we're watching it as a group, and I was already like, guys, I really fucking want to see Kano solo Shang Tsung because that's so fucking absurd that I want to see it happen. And then it did, and I was like, holy shit, they're doing it. They're going full, like, it's happening. Kano, the guy who loses to everybody, the guy who is literally a stepping stone. When you don't know who to have someone die, you just put Kano there. You fucking beat Shang Tsung. It's so stupid. And that's why I liked it, though, because it was so dumb. But by myself, maybe it would have pissed me off.
I'd like to say this though, like we were literally cracking jokes and kind of making fun throughout the movie. So I'd say our reaction isn't necessarily helping it, you know. It's like afterwards, I literally thought TrueUnderDawg, you weren't gonna give it that high of a score, and you're like, I'm not on par with Scorpion's Revenge. What? Weren't you like making fun of it like per 5 seconds throughout our watch of it and stuff? So yeah.
That's how I enjoy things. I'm weird like that. Even when I like a movie and someone asks me like, how do you feel about this? I guess I channel Snake's energy before I even knew Snake. They say like, how'd you feel about blah, blah, blah? And even if I love the movie, my response always, despite me liking it, is I go, I liked it, but, and I just mentioned the flaw. That's always like my go-to. So I'm always making fun of stuff even when I like it. You know, the only things that I can't make fun of are things that are almost perfect, like the Avatar, The Last Airbender. It's so hard to find flaws with. Blade Runner is pretty fucking hard to find flaws with. Like there are some
I'm
movies
looking forward to watching that someday. Yeah.
Yeah, some movies when you watch them, like they're really hard to find flaws in, so you can't even like make fun of them. This movie, I went in with the idea of making fun of it, and I still thought it was like
It's got a lot of
fun.
like trashy moments. It's got a lot of like even when I was watching with my brother, we were like having a laugh at many things at it. It's like it does have a lot of those stuff.
Even though we all agree the ending twist was like actually kind of a reverse plot hole where it made sense and fixed some of the issues because Kano's almost unkillable because he's written history to make himself almost unkillable. The one dumb thing about that ending is if you didn't play MK11, you have no fucking clue what's going on.
Exactly. I thought of that. You gotta be the most confused thing ever to see that. Like, what the fuck? What is going on here?
It's a one game, only one. Like, it's not even a repeat of like past games. If you didn't play MK11, get fucked. Like, you have no clue what's going on.
I was thinking about that actually. I was thinking like, is Sub-Zero's actor here the only member of the cast who knows what's happening because he was in MK11 as Scorpion? Like he has the context for the chronic and stuff, and everyone like even MKX Scorpion is like, what the fuck? What is this? I mean, I'm sure he knows, but it's just funny to imagine him in the booth like, What the fuck does this mean?
Hopefully MK11 sold pretty good so people would know what is happening. By the way, I pulled it up, guys. I pulled it up.
Nice.
Here is the scene where he teleports, guys.
1 second.
Look at this. I'm going to go frame by frame here.
Oh,
Teleporter shows up. Right here. Come on. Where are you? Teleporter.
It's going pretty slow.
So teleporter shows up. He jumps out of the teleporter. The portal.
Yes.
So he came from the portal.
Well,
Like,
Dairo
what
does
does
have
that
a
mean?
teleport. Dairo has a teleport in the game.
Oh,
He
so
just does.
are you saying that that's his teleport or something?
That's Dairo. Dairo can teleport, yeah. Although it's weird because in the games, the way he teleports it's a very unique teleport. He's the only character in history who could do this aside from MK11 Shang Tsung, and it's only a customizable ability. Dairu's teleport in his first game, Deception, is to switch places with the opponent. That's his teleport. But Dairu theoretically can teleport, because what he's actually doing is teleporting you and himself, right? So Dairu can teleport. That's all this is. Like, it's a thing he can actually
You're
do.
right, because it's even a different type of teleportation. He's teleporting a portal while Scorpion is, like, swirling away. Yeah, you're right.
This is the funniest. This is the funniest appearance in the whole fucking movie because he's literally only here.
Yeah, think about.
I missed him on my first watch.
Because it's not like just like taking the character model and just slapping it in there. It's like they had to design a version of the character in this art style just for this one shot, and that's it. Like, why? You could have just had. You could just had like Pharaoh go flying through the earth and Thor throwing her, or had like Cabal blazing at super speed, or anything.
Random fan fiction, yeah.
That's why I'm saying it's a fan fiction.
moment.
It's literally just a fan fiction. And real quick before I forget, Sonic, you and I are redeemed or like validated for shitting on Chronica because she shows up in this movie as a fucking skull. Not even her decrepit head with the crown still attached. She's a fucking skull. She doesn't even get the dignity of being like herself. Like you can tell it's Chronica. Not even that. It could be anybody's skull theoretically. We know it's Chronica because it's her crown, but it could theoretically be fucking anybody. So even like the writers recognize that Chronica is such a fucked up concept of a character. Like they tried to make her imposing and they backfired and made her the biggest idiot in history. So she's legit a plot device. She's been reduced to a fucking MacGuffin.
She doesn't even show up in the visions in the hourglass.
She doesn't. She's just a skull.
MK11, she wins. Cool. Aftermath, she gets defeated, and the final is Liu Kang and Shang Tsung fighting. In this movie, she's literally just a skull. Just getting reduced more and more every time she shows up later on. Yeah, maybe that's why I don't mind that part too much. It's because I hate Chronica. But the Hourglass shenanigans, that's, I guess, weird and interesting, but I hate Chronica specifically.
In a way, you can't be too mad about how Shang Tsung was done dirty, because at least his death was on screen. Kano killed Chronica off screen between movies. That just happened.
That's the biggest question to ask: is how the hell did that happen?
I think he just stole the crown. I think he just stole it or something. Is the idea?
But that's the big question. Really, is if this is a sequel to the previous films, what's the deal with Kano? Because I mean, I never really saw him the way he got battered as necessarily him dying. Because I feel like if Jack stomping him had killed him, his head would have exploded. But so it's always possible he can come back from that. But it's like you kind of want a bit of an explanation of what happened, how he came back, and then just stole the hourglass.
Yes, and my Shang Tsung theory is out the window now because I thought, again, Shang Tsung had made Kano as the fake figurehead. So my original theory was that he resurrected Kano just to be a fake target. So people would assassinate Kano and not him. But I'm totally fucked because Kano fucking destroyed Shang Tsung. And I did like that line, though, when he's like, I thought you'd try something different. I thought you'd be smarter in your betrayal, but nope, you're just a direct backstabbing bastard like you've always been. And that's how I knew this shit was coming, because you always just backstab front and center. Like, so I knew it was coming. He didn't poison his drink like Shao Kahn.
Everyone. Kano's the one saying that, Yeah,
because Kano does too.
That also was like an interesting part of the movie when I was watching it first. It was like, what is Kano saying here? It's like, I've made this world and stuff like that. It's like, what is going on?
It is foreshadowing. It's slight foreshadowing that he's seen the different timelines and that Shang Tsung always fucking betrays.
Think about how pathetic Quan Chi looks now, because Kano saw through Shang Tsung's bullshit and Shang Tsung saw through Quan Chi's bullshit. So how bad does Quan Chi look now when the guy whose bullshit was seen through so clearly by Kano Could see through his bullshit immediately.
Good. Fuck Quan
Wow.
Chi. Good. Fuck Quan
Wow.
Chi. I hate him too.
I feel like the filmmakers are somewhat on my side. They're like, Quan Chi, dipshit. Veronica, dipshit.
Yeah.
Well, I think in a weird way, because they don't explain too much, I think it kind of is advantageous for them, because if they explain how Kano got the crown, or how like Kano survived in Scorpion's Revenge, or like how this all happened more in detail, we might complain more. But the fact that it's ambiguous, I think it might be a better thing in a weird way.
Because for this narrative, it doesn't matter really how Kano got the crown. All that matters is he got it.
Yeah.
So you can explain it if you want, but you run the risk of making it really dumb, whereas the audience can fill in the blanks by helping come up with their own explanation. So might think, well, maybe Kano did just steal the crown from someone. Maybe he did sneak up on someone and stab them in the back. Maybe he beat up Kronika in a one-on-one fight. That is possible in MK11, so who knows? Yeah. But because we can fill in the blanks ourselves, it avoids us feeling negative about whatever explanation they come up with. So it was quite smart to do that.
I will say,
Indeed.
the only thing I don't like, the only thing that I wish they had done a little bit different, because there was one moment when Kano does a traditionally Kano line where like he's like, telling Sub-Zero like, hey man, just kneel to me now and I'll make you king of like, I don't know, like Antarctica. That was a great Kano line, right? I was hoping there'd be a throwaway line where someone's like, Kano, how did you think of this evil, nefarious plan? Like, how did you figure all this out? And he's like, I don't fucking know. No, dude, I didn't do that. No, I told the crown and the hourglass to make me top dog. And everything else was the circumstances required to make me top dog. I don't like the idea that Kano somehow thought, oh, zombies, plus this, plus that, and also all my goons and all that. I prefer if the crown did most of it, because then it would be like, Kano's still smart, but the crown did all the heavy lifting, because that'd be an even better plot contrivance for why, like, it's such a perfect scenario for Kano. Like, why are all the guys on his side? Like, why is Aaron Black, Ferritor, Cobra, Kira, all the perfect people who would like be on his team, Shang Tsung's in a defeated, pathetic state and all that? It seems like the crown would do all that and not so much Kano, unless he's done it more than once. But that, again, they did a good job not over-explaining it.
Implied that he's done it more than once,
Yeah, because some of the stuff he says to Shang Tsung could be interpreted as him saying, but like, you do this every time when I reset the timeline, you always do the same bullshit.
Better luck
you get
next
better every
time.
time.
And stuff.
Yeah. You're right. See, when I first heard that, I thought he meant that he had been betrayed multiple times in that one thing, but you're right. It means that like he's done it multiple times. That's funny.
So we are going for our quick summary of how we feel the film. We are getting to almost the 4-hour mark. Yeah, I still got to upload episode 3, so I think we should close it off soon here. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm pretty much
any
done.
final
yeah,
thoughts?
so.
I can say this: it's fun to watch with friends and take the piss out of.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're gonna watch the film, get some friends together, maybe a bit of alky, and just have fun taking the piss out of the film. You might even enjoy the film for what it is.
Yes.
I maybe it'll cloud your judgment. I don't know, but it was a decent time having fun with a couple of guys who take the piss out of dumb stuff in Mortal Kombat.
Just make sure that the friend you're watching it with has played Mortal Kombat 11, because unfortunately enough,
Exactly.
I can't even watch this movie with my family who knows what Mortal Kombat is. They've watched like the first 2 live action films and they've seen the 2021 movie. They would not know what the fuck Kronika's crown is, so I can't even watch it with them, which is unfortunate.
True. Yeah.
But so find someone like that. I'll say this. I kind of hope, like Snake was saying, I want them to make more movies like this. They won't. They'll keep the timeline going probably. But I want them to do more bullshit what-if stories. Give us an ending where fucking Reptile gets the crown and he's on the throne and all of the Cetarians come back and they're ruling over the planet as like a dominant race of lizard people, dinosaur people. That would be dope. Or just make a movie where like Reptile's the hero and then it's revealed at the end. He just sits on his throne and puts the crown on and he's like, yes, the story I always wanted. So he did the opposite of Kano. He made a story where he was the underdog and got to win, but it was still the crown that set it all up. Like, that'd be really funny. Like, he just wanted his own story.
Underdog.
I'm so touched that you're praising Reptile for me.
Yeah, but that's it for me. So now it's
I
your
was
turn
gonna
to
say
take it
something
away.
a little bit more like based off of the arcade endings we've seen before, because like there's a couple of them that have interesting concepts. Like, just why not make a Charlie's Angels movie with Melina, Katana, and Jade and that one MK9 ending or something?
A girl power movie would be fucking cool. I would like a girl-centric
MK,
movie with
yeah.
a female... I don't care if it's a Katana movie. Like, just a movie that focuses around a female character for Mortal Kombat is a fucking dope concept. Good idea. I'd like that.
Snake, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just saying underdog because he said underdog.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to. That was just how it is. There's no
yeah.
better word for that. I swear I wasn't trying to just rep the brand. Yeah.
Indeed, it is very easy to get the word underdog in. I had a great time watching it with you guys. I was half watching the movie and half just looking at your screens, being like, how are they gonna react to this scene right here? I gotta see this.
Nice.
How are they gonna react? That's the reaction. Yeah, I was hoping for a scene like that.
We got pretty hype over the fucking Sub-Zero ice arm. We got pretty hype
you
over
guys
that.
did. Yeah, it is. It's like one of those that's so dumb, but I love it kind of thing. It's like, yeah, you would do that if you had the idea. It's like, oh yeah,
Peak
kind of a
peak
thing.
fan fiction. It really does feel like they got a fan of Mortal Kombat that's like on Reddit all the time and chained him up and like they like poke him with a stick like, hey, what do you want in this movie? Pokes him. It'd be pretty fucking cool if Sub-Zero had an ice arm. It would be fucking cool. Put that in. What else do you want? I want Dairo to show up. That would be pretty fucking cool. Put Dairo in for 10 seconds.
Yeah, I also say this in my review before, but like all of my criticisms, main things I had with issues in the previous two movies are all quite fixed in this movie. We don't have so many subplots. We don't have so many characters. We don't have bullshit rules in the tournament. I mean, there's no tournament. It's just simple plot and just get to the end where it's like the most exciting part. And like that part of it, I really appreciate. And I remember I said it with you guys before, but like this, as I said, this is a story where literally you have, like, it's all made up, and unlike the first two movies, that's based off of MK1, MK2, so you want to respect the source material. This movie, you can go crazy. You can literally do whatever you want. And I think Jeremy Adams, the person who wrote this movie, like also wrote the previous two movies, definitely has a lot more fun and can get away with a lot more stuff in this movie. And I enjoyed that aspect more in a way. And I would like to see him write more crazy what if scenarios. I mean, like even now, like even though we have a direction for the next movie, it's really also again not really based off of anything we're used to. It's like they can't do MKX again. Shinnok ain't here anymore. Quan Chi ain't here anymore. It's like, yeah.
Is he?
So
Is he? I don't know. Yeah.
you never know if they can just come back. I actually said this in my video before. They've almost killed off every single main villain, other than Shao Kahn might not be dead, and
Noob Saibot.
I meant like a main villain. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, Naga.
that's the only one left that I can think of that hasn't been done.
But Blaze isn't a
Noob
villain, but
Saibot
there is
is
still
a main
Blaze.
villain.
I guess so. Blaze, yeah.
Blaze would be cool.
But yeah.
I like Blaze. But Blaze was kind of a hero though. indirectly.
Kano technically counts as a main villain because he was the final boss of Special Forces.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what this movie was for.
This film made me into the biggest hypocrite because I've gone on record multiple times that even though Kano's an OG, he's in the very first game, if there's any legacy character that doesn't need to be in this next game, just like how I think E Honda doesn't have to be in a Street Fighter game because E Honda is the most like boring of the original characters. If there's any character that doesn't have to come back, it's Kano. Then they made Kano into the main fucking villain, and I thought it was the most enjoyable, stupid, entertaining thing because I want to see Kano. The only way it could have been better is if we had a shot of Kano teabagging Chronica. Like, I just want to see Kano body everybody. Like, just in his robot body, just fucking teabagging Chronica. Like, it's so funny. It's so stupid. But that's why it's great.
A bad idea can be done well.
Mm-hmm.
This is a prime example because making Kano the main villain, especially in something that doesn't involve the Special Forces characters who are actually connected to him, is kind of dumb. But
Sounds dumb, yeah.
the way they went about it is pretty good.
We're in the right
kinda
timeline.
works.
Yes, we're in the correct timeline,
Look at that.
Snake, where this shit
Somehow,
happened.
modern MK movies, just whether or not they're good or bad, are making Kano somehow like the highlights. Like this in 2021 too. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but like I don't. Sure, why not? Give us more Aussie representation.
Evil genius, mad scientist Kano is best Kano. I'm totally down for it. It's great. It's a good time to be alive. It's weird how video game adaptations are kind of winning right now. We got Cyberpunk. We got this.
Oh my gosh,
we got Arcane. We've had a lot of winners lately. We had the horrible Resident Evil. But
Again.
other than that.
Two.
Again. Yeah, it's like
Two
fifth
horrible
time.
Resident Evils.
Yeah. Two. You're right, too, in the same like couple years. Yeah.
You like the Tekken Bloodline, so you know there's that too.
I think it's worth watching. Like, that movie has a lot of love put into it. The only thing I didn't like about that movie, it's not even a spoiler, but like Jin is a bit too much of a shonen protagonist. He wins fights that canonically were not his victory. It was someone else's that they gave to him. But other than that, Every single move, I'm not joking, every single attack in Tekken Bloodlines is an attack from the game. So someone had to research that shit to make sure all their attacks are literally... My friend who's a huge Tekken fan, who's like pro level, he's so fucking good, he was calling out the input for the move. Like Jin would do like his little step kick, and he'd go, forward 4, that's forward 4. And then King would do like his little combination, and he'd go, that's back 3-1-4. And I'm like, oh shit, he knows like literally all the sequences. So someone did that shit to make that series work. There are some really dumb jobbing in that series, like a couple times in particular, but it's still a good movie. I mean, it's still a good series. You're right. So like, you're right. More game adaptations.
What I'm trying to say is, like, I think we can discuss Tekken, like, another time, because we all did see
Yes.
it. So I think that's one of those topics that we would have fun talking about. We both, I'm sure me and Say, we also have a lot to say about it. But yeah, I think that should be a pretty good place to end the episode. This literally is going to be a two-parter again, because there's going to be one part where it's actually the podcast.
You're welcome.
And then the other part where it's going to be like...
You can now take a 3-week...
I have to edit 2 videos now, but yeah, okay.
You do, but now you have a big like 5-week break because like you can release this every 2 weeks. All hail King Kano. Long may he reign. I want King Kano as a skin. God damn it. If we get an MK12 and Kano's in it, I want the fucking skin.
Hang on, I thought some of you guys weren't liking the design of King Kano. What's going on here?
No, but it'd be funny. But here's the thing: the sad part is, even if there were more characters from the other game from MK11 in this movie, you know exactly which 3 characters would get their costumes in: Sub-Zero, Kano, Scorpion.
Kenshi. Right, Kenshi has a new design, so.
Kira.
Well,
if Kira ever comes back.
Well, they're not in MK11. I mean,
back,
if they added it to MK11, I mean.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But even then, I feel like if they only put in 3 designs, it would be those. Oh, Shang's in it as well. But like,
she doesn't change too much, but
no. But even if we had a game with all the characters in and they put in 3 costumes, those are the ones they'd go for. Scorpion would always get the movie costumes. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Except 95.
Scorpion is the Barbie doll. He gets all the skins. You know what's? This is my last thing I'm going to say. Then I'll let you end it however you want to. I'm concerned. I just had a revelation because I said, or a revelation. I'm a bit buzzed. A revelation. I got my fucking Japanese whiskey. So I had a revelation. I joked that I want the King skin Kano, which I do. But I just realized we already have a skin very similar to that in MK11 where he's like 90% cyberized. They came out with the Terminator DLC. I know deep down in my fucking bones that that's what inspired this fan fiction. Yeah. Someone saw that skin and was like, maybe. And it's NMK11, which has the fucking Chronica Crown MacGuffin. So I would not be shocked if that's what inspired the idea of King Kano for somebody in that room who was making decisions. Because we have a lead writer, but I'm sure he had people that he bounced ideas off of. Somebody was like, why don't you just make it like a fully cyberized Kano, like in MK11? And it's like, fuck yes, do it. Pokes the fan in the basement. That'd be pretty fucking cool. Good. We got confirmation from the nerd. We're going with it.
What do you call it? Definitely somebody working on this movie like definitely loves Kano so much. Like it's very apparent. It's like for him to get such a highlight in this movie.
And I'm happy about it.
So. Take us out, Sonic.
Take us out.
Yes.
I'm going to literally blind the screen now. Bye, guys.
The Kenji experience. This movie makes me feel like Kenji.